floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. As the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. As the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. As the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. As the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. As the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. As the floors can't take no more. Stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. groove, I'm feeling bored. Let's roll. As the floors can't take no more, stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. Let's roll. As the floors can't take no more, stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. Let's roll. As the floors can't take no more, stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. Let's roll. Ready, steady, go. As the floors can't take no more, stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. Ready, steady, go. As the floors can't take no more, stuck in this groove, I'm feeling bored. Ready, steady, go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's your boy Crowns. You know the vibes. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching. My name is Crowns, and welcome to the La Coupe de Africana Gauntlet stage. You've seen his face before, but tonight I am going to be accompanied by Priest himself. How are you doing tonight?
Ooh, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the party. We saw some action. And now, let's take a look at the leaderboard from yesterday's games. You know, when the Gauntlet stages, it is day one yesterday. And RGX started very, very strongly. 67 points to the good, 55 for Elite, the defending champions of La Coupe de Africana. Team Angry in third place with 42. And then we have the rest of the team sitting from 1916, Sam BRÜLANT, Mad Monkey, ZEUS Esports, Rescue Esports, Zen, Team B13, Mad Esports, and Why So Serious currently sitting at the bottom of the pot. Hopefully today will be a better turnout for them and they will be able to add some more, much more needed points in the overalls.
Yeah, definitely. But then again, this is something that I miss, but I'm pretty sure when I see numbers like this, I know exactly what to expect in the tournaments. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see now what these players have really got to show me here in the Gauntlet stage. We do see some of those teams looking like they're almost running away with it, but we've got 4 more games today to allow these teams lock in and find their way in. And in case you did not know, ladies and gentlemen, only the top 7 will be making it straight into the grand finals. The rest are going to have to go tough it out at the group stage. Is that right, Priest?
Yes, sir. The group stage is right after the gauntlet is done. 62 players in the cut with 16 teams all vying for a space in that top 7. Right now, RGX looking very comfortable and leading the charge. But can they hold on to that lead, though? Elite is right behind them. They cannot afford to make any mistakes. So it's anybody's game at this stage. But the party has kicked off. Rondo is how we are starting today's matches. And this is where most teams tend to stack up on their eliminations because you have the recall feature. So you recall your teammates and they get to, offer points to the opposition at least maybe 5 or 6 times or something. So one player can have like 5 eliminations, and that 5 eliminations is one
Woo.
person that he has been farming.
But you can only recall so much, like so many times, right? I think it's only like what, once or twice. How many
At
times
this
can you recall?
I think it's like 3 times, right? I think it's like three
Oh,
times. Yeah. I think it's until there's no more recall towers, I think.
damn.
I
All
think so.
right, definitely. Well, that would definitely be one way to rack up and stack up on those eliminations. The map is a very big map as well, so you have time to get yourself early eliminations. Come back again, still play the game for the late game, and see if you can still grab yourself more eliminations to go alongside that. I'm looking at how teams are scattered across everywhere. I see a couple hot drops here and there, and it's not something too out of the ordinary. If that's how the map is, I'm not surprised to see that there's hot drops to get things started here.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking good. We're looking strong. Play zone is in the south, though. Those teams that are playing in the west, tactical execution is going to be a hard rotation for them to make. This is one of the teams that actually kicked off very, very strongly in yesterday's game. And speaking of tactical execution, looks like the guys from Rescue Esports have started to add some chaos that way. First body in the air, Postman will be sending some mails to the guys from Tactical Execution. First body back into the lobby. It's going to be a very, very long game for some of these teams that are still not familiar with Rondo. I still think some teams are
Mm.
yet to be familiar with Rondo at this stage. But, this is why we're here. King with a drop. Fjord, or is that Fedoro? Is going to be sent back to the lobby as well. Trade-off is good. Rescue Esports, fresh out of PMAC Kenya, and they're looking good, Crowns. They're looking absolutely good.
Now, talk about strength is what they're showing right now. They've lost one player, but they're still playing on and applying that pressure onto the squad that's pushing up onto them and mix up the names. But anyway, I was gonna say I want to see how these teams are gonna play these things. Like with respect to when you're getting knocked, at what point do we start to see players, leave the fights to try to go to those recall towers or those recall stations to see if they can get their teammates back? Normally we would see people try to fight it to the end, get themselves that I can squad wipe. But now it's like, how do you play it? What is the play? When do you leave a fight? That's one thing I'm looking forward to. But we've already lost 3 players here, but there's a chance that those 3 players could still come back.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you can see but then that gives a little bit of a semblance as to some teams um how they push, how they press, because when they know that there's a chance that can get people, that is much more likely to give impetus to
Mm.
go for that push, go for that reckless, that high risk play. I think that's what Rondo offers that other maps doesn't, right? It gives you the opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
take a risk, even if you don't succeed. Dust yourself off and try again, and that is why we are here. Rondo is the map for second chances. If you can get yourself a second chance, it's either you become if it's either you become food for teams twice, or
Mm-hmm.
you turn things around for yourself. TERRORSIX being one of those teams that is going to be called out again. This is an engagement we saw yesterday, and TERRORSIX lost on both counts. Elite did manage to lose a player in that regard, but they managed to stay very strong towards towards the final third of the game. But this is something I always think about, right? When you're playing a map like this and you don't get early eliminations, the teams that have already started to drop bodies very, very early, I think those teams tend to perform better in the final third.
Yeah, definitely. The arms are warmed up. You're ready to go. The fingers are there as well. Like you're locked in. I guess that's the word to use because like you already know what it is like. You know what your your body is feeling like with respect to like your recoil control and all of that. You're feeling that early on in the game. You got the chance to do that as compared to you've just been seated in one spot, doing nothing. Right, and I do want to even emphasize on TERRORSIX Wakanda as well. Like for a team that is on the bottom side of the leaderboard going into today's games, I'd expect that on maps like this where they can get themselves a lot of eliminations, that is where you really want to thrive and you really want to succeed or get yourself more points because that way you get yourself a little cushion to start the day right.
Absolutely right. That cushion starting the day right. You could have said it better because that's exactly how RGF started, and it looks like tactical execution wants to pick up where they left off from yesterday. Already looking to press forward. First elimination earlier on, but looks like they want to make sure that they deal with the guys from Rescue Esports here. Rohan with a couple of sprays there, swapped over to the UMP, but he's getting chased down by two shotguns, but he's still holding his own. He's going to be bombarded, and that will be the end of the road for him. But that recall is always there, and you can see it. Aspect is already making quick work of getting his teammates back into the game.
I guess 2 is the number. You lose 2 and then you deep out of that fight. I wanted to see if it was a case of it's going to be down to the last man. But it looks like you lose 2, you get one more person to play distraction and one person to try to see if they can get that recall. Tactical execution showing themselves some tactics here as they get themselves their elims, or well, they get themselves their players back. And it's one of those you get the chance to make a little bit of a mistake, fill out your opponent a bit, and then you find your way back in here. But a team that is not going to be able to find their way back, we just saw them get eliminated. Oh wait, they have one more player. What? This is gonna take a little getting used to.
You're right, and it's the Rondo thing, right? All you need is one man to put things back into perspective. All hopes will never be lost. Are these solar panels? These are solar panels. Look like solar panels.
Wait, are they?
Yeah, I think they might be. I think they might be solar panels. I mean, that's the vibe that Rondo gives, right? A little bit of a energy never
Futurist.
ends. Exactly. Because they can have like EMP zones and stuff like that. I mean, it's really fun, but I don't know. I don't think I will ever get used to it because I heard that some places, some parts of the map just blow up. Like you can set
What?
bombs and they just blow up and stuff like that. It's wild, but it's it's all part of the infrastructure. Team Angry back to full strength.
Ooh. This is one team that I know I recognize. And I like to see if they still have that prowess that we're seeing. I even have to talk about the team that is on top of the leaderboard, REGNUM-X. Yeah, we did see one of their players up there. Actually, not even just one. I think about 3 of their players making it up onto that the top players list. Just goes to show you just how much they're playing with. And right now, it looks like they started this game on a little bit of a slower pace, on a slower note. Still 0 eliminations, not looking to look for too much trouble. And I would also like to talk about RECALCITRANTS, as you did say earlier. The team that came back, or well, sorry, they're coming back from winning these tournaments last time, and right now them seated in number 2 just shows that they really want to take this home again once more.
Yeah, and they give that Man City energy, especially for a team. Once they're like in second place and you're in first place, you gotta be worried because yesterday they had a back-to-back chicken dinner, and they put the fear of God in RGX because RGX started very, very nicely. They were roughly with over a 20-point gap at the top of the leaderboard by match number 2, or I believe like halfway through match number 2. RGX were absolutely cooking, but Team Elite, they won the last 2 games back to back. 2 different maps. It did not matter to them. They won the last 2 games, reducing the gap significantly to just 12 points. So right now, they've already added 3 eliminations. Team Elite, they are the defending champions for a reason.
Yep, and they are here to say if you're trying to take that from us, we definitely will give you a chase and a run for your money. Things on the other sides that we are seeing here. Chance, you're going to be with me on this one as I try to get the team names, but this is Team BI3. Is it BI3? I thought it was big.
Big 13.
B13, it's a 1. Yo, I thought that was the letter I, but look at that spray coming in through from ZEUS MORIS. Also, another team that I recognize them to be one of those very strong teams. And in all honesty, the strong teams or the teams that I recognize, I see some of them up there, and I see some of them just underneath that top seven bubble. And ZEUS MORIS happens to be one of them, and I start to wonder what might be going on, or am I panicking too early? I mean, it's only just how many games? We've got 4 more games tomorrow, but am I panicking too early?
I mean, you might be because Elite is in trouble right now. Mankey gets knocked away, but his teammates are never too far out. And yesterday we saw how dangerous a solo player from this team can be. But it looks like the Nigerian champions want this smoke. It is going to be Neon Outlaws pulling up to the mix. Miki wants a piece of the action as well. Big Zin, baby on baby action, immediately goes for the drop. As he peeks out, he takes damage as well, has to fall behind cover just in time. Mad Esports in the vicinity causing some chaos, but it looks like Neon Outlaws will be able to get themselves back in contention here as they are trying to hold this little pocket of space on the tail side.
And talk about a nice play of the advantage or well of the area they're coming through from Neon Rising, able to hide behind those high grounds or well behind those little deeps, prevent themselves from getting heavily affected there by the third party. But at the same time, you also have to admire that retreat coming in through from Zen. And I noticed something there from Neon Rising on that push because I thought, oh, they were going to try to, beep out or get that buggy dude out of there. But it looked like they were more focused on that Elim. And I think that just comes based off of the fact of you knowing that on this map, you can whoever you've just taken out now can easily get revived. If you see someone in the buggy, it's probably they still have one more person left, and then they're probably trying to rest. So you don't want to waste too much time trying to get third party, risking the third party while trying to shoot one buggy guy down. So these are the little plays that I'm keeping my eye out for, trying to see if that's going to bleed into other maps or if they would leave it here in Rondo.
Yeah, I would also expect the same thing, looking to how they play this particular map as opposed to, the Arangels and the Miramars. And it's also something to look out for because once you have a player,
Hey.
Postman gets posted with some bullets immediately as well. And that is something that we've always been seeing, players recklessly going for the pickups, not scanning the environment or their knocked away teammate not giving them enough intel, and they pull up to the scene. Shaki, unfortunate, he's going to be uprooted and sent back to the lobby as well. Postman, unfortunately, as well, will follow suit. Tezzy looking very, very confident here. Tactical execution started off very, very slowly yesterday, but towards the end of the day, they found their footing and they're currently sitting in the top 5. But remember, top 7 is the goal. Straight to the finals, no hula baloo, no stress, straight action. That is where you want to be. And Crown, something else that I was thinking about, right, is when you go up against a team and you manage to eliminate a couple of players from that team inside of Rondo, your position is compromised after that exchange. The moment that recall
Hmm.
happens, the moment that recall happens, they're coming back. They're coming back and they know
Mm-hmm.
where you all are. That is a big risk, when it comes to full teams getting recalled.
And that's one of those situations where you be like, if we're taking out a team right now, if we're leaving one person or two people, we have to take them out in such a way that they're not even gingered or motivated to try to come back. And even you as a team also looking to come back. Because I believe when you come back off of that revive, I don't think you have most of your weapons. I think you get like what? Probably new spawn weapons, or do you come back with the same weapons that you had before?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's so many different ways that you could do this, but again, we always have to think about how productive it is if you can keep all of your teammates, alive in an
Mm-hmm.
exchange and then eliminate the entirety of the opposition at one time. But realistically, it never always happens like that when you're playing in Rondo because I tend to see this every single time they usually keep someone in the fray, someone
Mm-hmm.
behind just to hang around the recall center and just give everybody a little bit of calm that whatever goes wrong, don't worry, I'm here to recall, here to keep you
Mm-hmm.
back into the game, and I'm pretty sure that that's just how it rolls, especially when it comes to this map.
Yeah, and right now you just be looking at the numbers reduce and increase, reduce and increase. I wonder how the IGLs must play this one out. The game really wouldn't start until like later phases in the game. I think that's when you really want to start paying attention to how many players are left in the game. And another thing I was looking to see was if there will be any teams that will be like guarding the recall stations to try to see if they can catch some solos or maybe even duos, trying to see if they can grab their revives. That'll be one way to milk yourself some more eliminations and maybe even reduce the number of people in the lobby. Alrighty. Well, that being said, zones closing up. A lot of these teams have found themselves in the blue zone, which is relatively surprising. But then again, it's a very big map. There's a lot of area to cover, so I wouldn't be too surprised, and I wouldn't bash them too much for not being in that circle just yet. But yeah, Zen Sports looking to relax out here, but they're not still in the circle, which is quite interesting as to why they're relaxing. But then again, late rotations is something that I know some of these teams love to do, and especially when you're playing a map that is so big. We're going into stage three. There's still 61 players where people can respawn and revive. It's understandable why you would want to really play that one slower.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. But RGX, again, it's very interesting the way these guys play, right? Because what I heard is we've got a little bit of solo in there. You know how good solo
Hmm.
esports is, or rather
Hmm.
was, before they got into that drama of the PMAC and all those things that went down. But realistically, this is a team that I've seen in LAN tournaments. They've been very, very good. It's just unfortunate that they allowed the pressure of participating with PMAs to get to their heads, and they just fell off a cliff. But they're back. At least the better part of the team is back. Fazo is in there as well, and that is something that we love to see. And they have been doing absolutely incredible so far. But at this stage, right? Do you think that it's more of just sheer chaos, sheer violence that gets you through, or do you still be in being tactical at this phase of the tournament?
That's a tough one, low key. Because to an extent, I want to say play it like finals because this ultimately takes you into the finals, right? So if you're able to do well this first couple of days, it's one way to go about it. But at the same time, if the lobby is not too crazy, like if we're seeing, and which is why I'm not going to make my judgments too quickly. Um, if the lobby is not too crazy in ways where there's people who are doing just as well as you're doing, or there's teams that are not looking, or there's teams that are looking experienced, my bad. In those kind of situations, it becomes very hard for you to start playing anyhow, right? But then if you're able to focus on those elims, get yourself as many elims as possible, try to fill the lobby out on the first day. You kind of know the attitude you want to bring into the next day, see how the teams are playing, and know how well you can, either ride the lobby or, maybe even try to succumb and be more tactical.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because there are certain teams that I've seen in other tournaments and they play a different style, much more aggressive, and some of those teams they've tried that way, right? They've tried playing exactly like that in this lobby, but it hasn't been working. An example is one of the guys from Mad Monkeys, right? I've known them to play significantly very, very aggressive. They stack up on numbers, they stack up on eliminations. And I realized that yesterday when they were trying to get out of the lobby, a couple of teams that they hardly ever go into engagements with the top tier teams, with the team that are currently sitting on top of the leaderboard right now. They usually lost out to teams that were in the middle or towards the bottom of the leaderboard. They would lose a player here, lose a player there, those kinds of things. And it's starting to show out again inside of this Rondo game because Amar has already been sent back into the lobby. Granted, they've gotten 4 eliminations already, but that loss of Amar this early in the game, I believe is going to cost them later down the line.
Yeah, especially if they're not able to recall him, all right? Because we have to put that in mind that there's a chance that they could recall that player. But if they're not able to recall that player, that is one very strong force that you do not want to be missing. What is this gun
Bro, these
skin?
guys is cold. It's cold.
Oh,
Cold.
but BRÜLANT now looking to be in a little bit of danger, or make that a lot of danger, because it will be third party coming through from Why So Serious to send them back and pack it into the lobby. And I can say, well, the guys from what was the other team that was behind them? I missed it, but those guys, they were very lucky. Actually, Neon Rising were the guys, but they were very lucky because that solo could have taken down at least one of their players. And if that happens, yeah, that just destroys the equilibrium. Damn it!
Hmm.
While going into the rest of the game.
Clock it, clock it, clock it. Equilibrium lost in the source. And Elite in trouble here with Why So Serious breathing down their necks. Mangi immediately trades off. Deathstare gets knocked away. Back into the lobby is most likely where it's going to go. But Team Elite is very, very hard to break them down. If you do get a knock, there's always someone there to apply some more pressure on your return. And looks like Neon Outlaws again. Yes, Neon Outlaws. I'm still calling them Neon Rising. Don't worry, but I'm still yeah. It's taking me a while to get used to. But I'm calling. Yesterday I called them Neon Rising like 20 times, and I called them Neon Outlaws
Ah,
like 5 times. But yeah, it'll take a while to get used to. But Panic and the rest of the team from Why So Serious, they are trying to make their way into that circle. You can see Power Baby just sprawling through, but I believe he's been spotted. I believe one of the guys from ESPORTS, they are trying to hold their absolute best by the edge of the circle, but it's looking very, very unlikely. Tony setting his sightlines onto the guys from Mad Esports. Mad Esports and yeah, sightlines onto the guys from TERRORSIX Wakanda. Chaos, chaos, and more chaos here. Mad Monkeys adding so much pressure towards the guys from Mad Esports. Is a battle of who is madder between the two of them, but it looks like Mad Monkeys are just slightly madder.
looks like the monkeys are very mad. They're definitely mad, and it's a question of how long can they stay mad. And maybe they're angry at the fact that we said, Amari is the one player they do not want to lose. Well, Tony, calm down, we're not speculating. But anyway, you guys hear from Mad Monkeys, puts it in the work already, and this is where I'm going to start to see most of these teams play from the edge because I understand that that's kind of like the meta, especially right now in the African region. So we're going to start seeing them play on that edge, and that's why we see this much chaos because a lot of teams trying to play from those edges, trying to see if they can get each other out and get themselves the freedom to get into that circle. But elites still finding their nades, trying to see if they can find that entry in order to start their push. Team Angry, on the other hand, too, puts it in the work onto ZEUS and MORIS, and I promise you, it is trouble all across the map of Rondo right now.
Yeah, absolute trouble. I mean, Team Elite, 7 eliminations to the good. Tactical execution will be executed. Back to the lobby they will go, but not without packing some eliminations in that briefcase on their way out. Zen Esports still yet to find their footing, but they have started quite nicely in this game. It looks like Neon in trouble. Big Zen immediately caught by Cacao, the MVP from season 2. And he's absolutely cooking yet again. 4 eliminations to the good, 8 eliminations in total for Elite, and RGX starting to finally get a piece of that action. They have been awfully very, very quiet inside of this game. Hopefully, they will be able to rev up their engines. Neon also getting spotted out. More chaos now coming through from Team Elite. Des with a spray and a half. Miggy immediately trades one back. Neon Outlaws will not be backing down without a fight. Klaus from the Mad Monkeys has been knocked away, and he will find cover
Oh,
just behind the shack. And hopefully he will be getting picked up, but it doesn't look like it's going to be possible. Cacao! Cacao putting these screws to RGX. And
you have
Crowns,
to
he
push
didn't
that.
even play yesterday.
Wow. And this is just this idea of Elite making a statement. Kakao able to spot that player behind the Beetle there. And he takes him down as well. 5 eliminations. If you add those two, he might go more. And he's definitely going to get more as Elite find themselves on top. They lose 2 players. 3rd elimination so far. It's looking like a revive would be possible. But it's third-party bullets coming in through from almost every angle that they can think of.
Absolutely incredible. Cacao, the MVP for a reason, and he's turned his sight now all the way across. It looks like TERRORSIX trying to make their way through that western side, spotted as well. And Neon Outlaws, it looks like Miggy was caught out, will be getting knocked away and sent back into the lobby. The Mad Monkeys, not so lucky. They go out again early, but they do pack some eliminations. But is that enough? They go out relatively early every single game, and they can't find a way to the final third. But Elite continue their onslaught, set aside towards the guys from Team Esports this time around. Logic, can he find an angle through? He's been spotted, but Elite need to get into the zone, but they have a lot of real estate, not too much ground to cover, and Logic will have a lot of time on his hands here to set something on, but Double RG and Team Angry in a pocket of space in the center of the circle.
And this is where ZEUS Amoris or ZEUS Moris would be begging for all the other teams to start doing something, put some sort of third-party work in here. And Cacao now has spotted some of those players there from ZEUS. The bullets have gone through, and the grenades, he's wondering if he can throw it that far. I think he can launch it that far. It's going to have to be perfect. And he's got 8 in the bank. 1 is out, trying to see if he can get himself a little bit of damage there. No knocks to be found yet. But I think this idea of Elite are looking to go from that left-hand side, looking to chase out that solo there from Zen and see if they can get into the circle from there as compared to pushing all the way into ZEUS. Oh, what a nade!
So simple. He made it so simple. The grenade launched to perfection. Zero, still very much alive here, still keeping the flag up for Neon Outlaws. He's found a way into the circle though, runs right through. LB has chased him down in 2 hours. He's probably going to spray him out immediately. He pops out, and that is a beautiful spray to follow through. And Team Elite, half simple, getting caught out. He's going to be knocked away, and LB will be going back into the lobby. Unfortunately, Zero just couldn't clutch him in time, but he will be spotted as well. Cacao continues to mount the pressure. Faker with a grenade over the top tries to keep it on. Cacao is still feeding intel from that high ground position to the rest of the team, but unfortunately there's no one left to feed the intel to. They have packed all the bodies they could. ZEUS potentially could get a chicken dinner here, and it's all anyone's game. Lucifer sends Cacao all the way back to hell, and that might be the end of the road, and now is a big chance for them. Double RG, Team Angry still very much here, and it's now a matter of who is going to get that final blow at the right moment.
Yeah, and you blink and you miss it. You blink and Elite are down to 1 player. You blink one more time, they are out of the lobby. We're down to a 2v2v1. RRG trying to see if they can hold down the ground. But ZEUS Moris, they've got a little bit of an advantage, but not too many throwables to work with. And I think that shyness of using the throwables might be the reasons why Elite have not even made it this far, because they did have those throwables, but they were not using them. Right now, final 3 squads looking to go tooth for tooth. And Angry just looking to stay quiet, hoping that these 2 teams would play it out, and maybe he might just come in to deliver the final blow. RRG still looking for the damage, and right now it's a question of who's going to play this one right. All teams seem to have a little bit of the zone.
It looks like they're very, very comfortable here. Lucifer trying to get an angle on this here. RG will be called out. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Casino will be going back to the lobby, and that is ZEUS Esports with the chicken dinner. And what a time to get a chicken dinner. This is a team that had struggled all through yesterday, but they have found their footing and finding it in the first game of the next day. Yes, this is the aura that's ZEUS Esports that we know that they possessed. And they've started with a bang. 9 eliminations and a chicken dinner crowns. It doesn't get any better than this.
I mean, they ended the day yesterday with 13 points. That's after 4 games. And today they've done more than that in just 1 game. That just goes to show you that they've got their eyes on that top 7. What a way to play the game. And I did say it before we go into that final circle, they would be hoping that third parties are there to grab the attention of every team that could be shooting at them. And indeed, that did happen for them. And they played that one well to the team. Watching those teams fight it out, grabbing themselves sub-eliminations as well off of those fights, off the third party. Love to see that one coming in through from ZEUS Moris.
And that's what we love to see, regardless. But you know, we did get a lower amount of heals today, though. Yesterday we had about 10,000 in heal points, you know, and I think significantly, roughly around the same number of eliminations. A couple of knocks follow through as well, but 7 grenade eliminations, a bunch of assists in this game. Yesterday it was roughly around the same numbers, but take a look at that, 2,500 for Elite. My word.
They were having fun in the lobby, and it was a thing where we were saying it like, oh, it's looking like the side of REGNUM-X. It looks like they started on the slower note, but Elite did start things really fast in the lobby, got themselves those early eliminations and continue to double down on it. And you have to speak about that man Kakao and how much work he was doing for the team. And then we saw them start taking teams out, but when it got to that end of that game, they were not quite able to put that final pin in the coffin of all the other teams. But again, I just mentioned his name, Kakao, a very wonderful player that we saw in this game.
Big player, big game player. Kakao back in the mix for Team Elite, and in the first game he plays, he's the MVP. 8 eliminations, 1300 in damage points, 25 minutes on the clock. He was the last man standing for Team Elite. That is to tell you that this guy, yeah, he still got it. He's absolutely still got it. And it looks like, they might just be able to, be the back-to-back champions. But, it's still a race. It's still a race. He starts very, very nicely. Eight eliminations. Tony from Mad Monkeys is in the mix there as well. Faker for ZEUS Esports is also in the mix. And Fedro is also there, I believe, for Rescue Esports.
Rescue.
And Pala Bala from Double RG. Now, we have a brand new set of MVPs today.
Exactly, and that is one thing I like to say. I like to also see the fact that it just did not come from one team, and this was one thing we said earlier in the game with regards to the map being Rondo, that map where they have that flexibility to get themselves a lot of eliminations. Teams are recalling each other. You're able to grab themselves extra elimination, and it does play out as we start to look at the elimination count from the match standings here. Side of ZEUS MORIS getting the most number of points, 19 points that they were able to put up on board. RECALCITRANTS Elites getting themselves 17 total points with 13 eliminations coming through out of that one. We did see them take a lot of fights there, but unfortunately, in those final moments, they did find themselves out relatively early. RRAGE did make it all the way to second position. 6 eliminations to follow it as they've got 12 total points. And we start to look down and further down the leaderboards. We're looking at the other side of the leaderboards where we're seeing the likes of REGNUM-X not getting themselves enough points. I mean, for a team, they did have a little bit of a lead, but I believe with this game that Elites were able to get, it would toss them off of that top one. But then again, Priest, this is just the Gauntlet stage. All you need is top 7, no?
Yeah, all you need is top 7. But, Elite don't care, man. They don't care, and that's something that RGX are starting to learn, relatively very quickly. Because what makes it even interesting is in yesterday's games, RGX won the first game. They won the Rondo. So today is so different. Switch is still, leading the pack, 2600 in damage points, but Fazo does have more eliminations than him with 2k on the dot. And ZEUS is still in the mix here with 13 as well, with 2100. Mangi from Elite is still leading the charge for Elite, but now that Kakao is here, he's gonna have to back it up real soon. 2400 for him, and Aspect from Angry as well with 9 eliminations and 1800. But let's take a look at the overall leaderboard now and take a look at that round.
Yep. RECALCITRANTS Allies already finding their way back to number 1 spot. As I said, for REGNUM-X, if you're looking to make that statement, you know that Elite is here to also give you replies to that statement, as we're starting to see the shuffles coming through here. Seeing new teams making it into that top 7, and one team that I'm looking at there is ZEUS MORIS, the power of one chicken dinner, Priest.
Yes, the power of one chicken dinner, putting them deep into that top 7. And who is moving out of top 7? Neon Outlaws. That ZEUS Chicken Dinner pushes Neon Outlaws out of the top 7. Now they're currently sitting in 8, and this top 7 battle is going to be one for the books, because only 10 points separates 8th place and 4th place. So it is going to be an interesting bubble to look out for. Team Angry still very, very much in the mix there with 51, but let's not forget FORKILL Esports, Mad Monkeys, Rescue Esports. All of these teams still have a chance of getting into the top 7. It's not even far off. They're just a couple of points away. Zen Esports and BRÜLANT and Why So Serious still very much in the mix. All they need is that one chicken dinner. Just unfortunate on this side of the leaderboard, there's no chicken dinners just yet.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like every team that is on here, seeing what ZEUS were able to pull off in this first game up on Rondo, I think that would give them that motivation that all we really need is that one good game, and we could get ourselves set up very well going into the rest of the games today, and also going into the final couple games tomorrow. So that is one thing that I'm really looking forward to. Mad Monkeys, we did speak about them earlier, them being a team that would expect to have seen on those top sides of the leaderboards. But right now, they do look to be falling short. They're still down there in that middle belt, or maybe not even middle belt anymore on that leaderboard. We look forward to seeing if they're able to keep those squad alive. Maybe it's a Rondo thing. As I said, I'm going to try not to panic too early just yet.
You're absolutely right. But Rondo is over. Arangel is up next. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Club de Africana Season 3. And we'll be right back after the break to bring you more PUBG Mobile action. But this time, it's Arangel.
Smile and be ready. Lock in and be ready because the Rondo is out of the way and we are about to get things started here in Arangel. Priest, game two about to get started. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I saw a little bit of a glimpse of elite. Cacao. That sort of chaos, that sort of violence that we love to see in La Cup. Seeing it in the Gauntlet stages is a little bit tricky though, especially the bubble. I'm more focused on the bubble right now, right? Those teams that are from like fourth place all the way down to I believe 12th, 13th, all looking for a chance to get into that top seven. That is where my eyes are going to be for the duration of this game.
Exactly, and given the fact that after this whole day, there's still another whole day tomorrow where you get another rondo, another chance to get yourself more eliminations, those wild card maps. That is one thing that I'm looking forward to see now how these teams are going to approach the rest of games today. And for the likes of what Mad Monkeys, Elite, it's almost like okay, we've gotten a feel of the lobby. I hope for that map of Rondo. And now that we're coming back into a little bit of normalcy here in Erangel, I want to see how these teams are going to approach this one. I do not want to see hot drop Priest. Should I be expecting any?
Well, I do see a lot of hard drops though, potentially towards the northern side. I think Savannah, areas like that, and I believe in Rozok as well. I saw a lot of chaos in yesterday's games, but I think that today they've learned and they may have changed things just a little bit. So we'll see if that's
Hmm.
going to be the case today. I think we're going to see because Elite is playing with a different dynamic now that Kakao is in the mix. I'm pretty sure he saw that result yesterday. And was like, nah, nah, nah. I need to remind these guys who the main character is. And but Southwest playing path to the north side. Okay, Team Elite will be going back to Savannah. I think they will be going there uncontested this time. They did run into something yesterday. Yasnaya, Rozok, all of those areas looked very, very packed up. But I think everyone has started to understand that, yeah, that ain't gonna work this time. Let's play slow, let's play steady. But I spoke too soon. Team Angry already on the left side of the kill feed.
Now that's not fun for them at all. That is not fun for them at all. And they're not even in that tight of a hot drop. It does look like it's one of them ones you get into that hot drop where you're trying to find yourself a vehicle. But speaking of vehicles as well, I'm seeing something happen around that southern part of the map where we're seeing side of Rescue Esports close to P13. And I think there's one more other team in that mix. Okay, it's just both teams. And I wonder where both teams are looking to land for the entirety of the game. But the map is gone, but I can assure you guys it's an almost balanced zone, but I like this kind of zone because it's one of those zones where it divides the map into two. And I know sometime in this game we would have a place where those IGLs would have to make a decision of do you want to play on the top half or do you want to play on the bottom half of the sandwich.
Ooh, well, I think it's it's something I learned across over time, right? Some teams or they tend to understand the rotational patterns of other teams and they use that as a guide for their rotations, right? This is something
Hmm.
I've seen time and time again. Like some teams they study the map, they say, okay, these is where these particular teams love to play. So their rotation, depending on where the circle is, they tend to try to predict the rotational patterns of other teams. So they want to go against or to go up against specific teams, right? So they would rotate a certain way, hoping to
Hmm.
catch specific teams. This is something
Hmm.
I learned from the book of Gardier. So this
Hmm.
is something I learned from him actually. You plan your rotation, you just happen to meet some specific teams, and just it's just
Coincidentally.
part of the strategies. Exactly, coincidentally. And so big shout out to the Book of God. Yeah.
Yeah, Book of God. Yeah, if it comes out, you guys know it's one of them books that you might want to give yourself a purchase there. And really, I'm looking forward to seeing if there's any of those teams that is going to apply that. And that is something that I do see. If I were to be the likes of, say, Elite, I would do something like that, and I would want to do it towards the side there of Regnum, just to kind of give them that statement that like, hey, this is our yard that you're coming into. Just kind of show them that, like, if you're trying to win the La Cup or if you're trying to fight against me, you're gonna have to do a whole lot of not just shooting on the battlefield, but a whole lot of tactical thinking as well.
Absolutely right. I'm quite impressed that these guys actually chose this mode of
Right?
transportation. Because that thing makes hella noise. It makes hella noise. It's not even subtle. If it was his like a subtle vehicle that didn't make any noise when you were in the air or something, but it makes a lot of noise. Like you're not even going to go undetected.
Mm.
So again, and you can't even
Eh,
shoot out of it. So it's so tricky to use that as
look,
a
look,
means of transport.
he was on ChatGPT earlier, and he tried to put ChatGPT how to fly a plane. He was just following those instructions, and what better way to practice the instructions than here in the map of Arangel. Get to see if you can fly around, get yourself some vehicles. There's one of those cases where you put your life on the line just to try to find a vehicle because that's a vehicle spawn, and you get there on the floor and then you're seeing the plane. That's not fun at all. Not fun. But this map will be a lot of fun. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Everyone is pretty much away from each other. They understand that this one, there is no reviving. If you go down, you are gone. You get me? But anyway, we see the side there of T3. I'm going to use this to know where the team or the team names. So watch me. We see the guys there from T3. I believe T3 is Terror. No, that's what
No,
Terror 6 is it?
tactical executions.
Tactical Don't do that to me. So the three is supposed to be an E. All right,
Yeah.
tactical execution out there in Yasnaya Poliana. That's a very interesting drop spot for them.
Well, let's see if they can actually hold it down. I mean, Yasnaya Poliana, it's a good spot. Very common though for teams that do love to play around those types of clogged up buildings. For me, I don't really like places like Yasnaya and school apartments
Jojo
and
Paul.
Jojopo. You get me? Like those kind of places,
Mm,
they annoy me. They only annoy me when someone else is there with you. I don't like that. I just because
it's a
places
lot of
like that,
anxiety.
exactly, places like that are built for like three teams comfortably. It will
Hmm.
take three teams comfortably, but I want to be alone. I don't want to be with three other teams. Like I don't want to be worried. I
And like
don't want to
so
be
many
worried.
buildings,
Yeah, exactly.
so many angles. Yeah, again, you start hearing footsteps. It's hard to tell what floor is this person on. I don't know those kind of situations. It gets very confusing. It definitely is a confusing place to play. And usually that's why I like the chaos whenever the zone ends around that spot because I'm like, yeah, we get to see a lot of teams go into the city, try to fight it out. Kind of give you that Los Leones vibe as well.
You're absolutely right. And but then Los Leones is kind of different though. I don't mind
Mm.
being in Los Leones with multiple teams, but it looks like San Brulan and Mad Monkeys are starting to trade off. This is something that's been happening to Mad Monkeys since the beginning of this tournament. They're
Hmm.
always losing out. They're always getting caught out. Another man against Fox 2. That's two
Ooh!
bodies. And he can hear the gun going click, click, click because he was going for that flush.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it didn't pan out the way he wanted. Tony's up on the left hand side there, applies a little bit of pressure. Now here they come again. These guys are scrappers. Ambulant are scrappers. They always get a body. Every time they go up against the team, they always get a body. That's a fantastic grenade on Prince. He takes a little bit of damage there as he swaps through,
Where's the
turns his
support?
back, and again he falls back and breaks. Unfortunately, Mad Monkey's losing out
Oh,
again,
there's
yet
no
again.
way.
Yeah, I mean this is their style of play. It is their style. That is their style.
I'm even more pained that Sangbulan aren't making Mad Monkeys really and truly regrets this decision or the way they've actually pushed this fight. That was very, very reckless. They
Yeah.
almost lost Oncho in that fight. There's a chance he could get revived. But then again, I feel like Sangbulan, if they had one more player there to make it a complete 2v2, they could have worked out of that, or they could have worked their way out of that one. That was very reckless push there from Mad Monkeys. Thankfully for them, it's worked out, but I really wished that Sandbulan were able to have that last player there to give them that extra prowess in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I saw Mad Monkeys pull the exact same thing with Rescue Esports. Rescue Esports is not Sambulan dog. They punished them immediately,
Mm,
and they lost all of their players. They did get it. I think they did get two
hmm.
eliminations in there, and they worked, and that's just how it ended up for them. But Rescue Esports punished them severely and sent them back into the lobby. And it was in this Arangel game, and it was still in that area where that
Wow.
just happened. So I think Man Monkeys are still trying to get their hands, or rather, wrap their head around what type of chaos that they are viewing here. Because it looks like TERRORSIX now have their sights set on. Captain
Ooh.
goes down for a second time. Yaros plays behind them, applying some sort of pressure, playing off as the Overwatch. But again, TERRORSIX have the numbers advantage. Is Amar going to commit though? They need a vehicle. He can't go on foot. Yaros will spray him down if he can't get him all the way through. Honcho applies a little bit of pressure there to the job
Uh
done.
oh.
Beautiful from Amar. What a big spray. But now it's a 2 versus 2. It's balanced out an S12K against another S12K. Grenade from Amar. He's
It's
very
actually good.
good with the grenades. He launched it over the top.
That's perfect.
Perfectly launched. 2 versus 1 now. Captain, my captain,
Oh,
what do you have in
jeez.
store? But Amar launches one for his own as well. Swap through. Jump shot is good. Plays over to the right. Gets the flush. And that will be one. Pass to the right. And almost getting clutch. But Amar will save the day. But it's a
Six.
warning yet again.
At this point, you say one could almost argue if it's happened again and they're able to get away with it. This one, I don't think they got away with. I think they actually held their ground well
Yeah,
on this one. I'm
yeah,
out with
yeah.
4 eliminations there. What a way to hold. What a way to play. The instance Yaros was knocked on that third party, or sorry, on that off angle, that was the call. And look at that little bait and switch there as well. With Amar opening that door so that player would make that shot. And then you've got the grenades to know and pinpoint exactly where that player was. Talk about team play, talk about teamwork. That is one way to hold down the fort. Unfortunately, due to them being very reckless early on, they already lost one player before going into this fight, and on this one they lose another. And I think that's one thing I would want to look at Mad Monkeys and maybe ask them or tell them to check with respect to not losing players in every single fight that you take.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's just a matter of adaptability, right? I think that's just really what it falls down to, how adaptable they can get, because they really really struggle starting games really really strongly. That is where their drama has been for the most part of this tournament. But look like Team Elite setting their sights on Faker and the guys from UC Sports, fresh off a chicken dinner. Faker getting knocked away there, and Kaká will take it upon himself to make sure he wraps this up. But nope, nope, nope. He's gonna learn that this is not one of those days. But they will want to commit. So RGX pulling up into the mix, and this may have
Uh
just
oh.
turned things around, and that will be a big, big trouble. Big grenade launched over the top by Kakao again, and this
Woo!
is there. Another grenade. Chaos ensues immediately, and
No go
Lucifer
wrong,
will be
K.
sent back to the lobby. Faker hightails it immediately, but he runs into the guys from RGX. Now it's RGX
Oh,
against Team Elite, but there's a big opportunity for one of them to climb over the other. And it looks like RGX are going to take it upon
woo!
themselves straight off, blow for blow right now. The two giants at the top of the leaderboard going one for one, just getting knocked away. They want to commit. They want to make sure that Elite do not run away on that leaderboard. And this is a brilliant way for RGX to do it.
And Elite right now seeming to drew a lot of driving with the vehicle. It doesn't look like they want to revive Des as Des would fall. And I don't know if RGX are able to grab themselves their revive onto their player, but that is one fight that I was really looking forward to. And I thought both teams would try to hash it out there in the open, but really it is the open field. There's really no cover to work with. We also have RRG lurking in the background. It's something that both teams wouldn't want to take, which I kind of understand why, Elite were able to fall back to that building, try to continue holding that strong spot that they have. They're still in the circle, so there's no need to rush. You can still get yourself more eliminations as the game goes on.
It's all about the eliminations. If you can stack them up early, you have a better chance. Right now, RGX have hurt Elite, stealing away one of their players, and that's a good way to hurt the opposition. But right now, Angry, Double RG, tactical execution, they have a long ways to go to secure that top seven. They need to make sure that the rest of the teams can't climb up closer to their position. Because right now, as it stands, ZEUS have been sent back into the lobby. So that top
Mm-hmm.
seven is packed. We gotta pack it up because TERRORSIX Wakanda as well. So they've given up 6 and 7 already. Mad Monkey's
And
not too far away.
yeah, and what even makes it even better again is like even Mad Monkeys that is close have just two players left in the lobby. So and we're looking at every other team that is Ross right below Mad Monkeys, Neon Rising, FORKILL, Rescue Esports, Zen Esports. These teams, even all the way to the side of Why So Serious, B13, Mad Esports, these teams still have all four players alive. So this is going to be a whole war. This is one thing I like to see, that those teams that found themselves on the bottom part of the leaderboards from yesterday are going into today's game, this next game. Right now, I know it's still stage two, but seeing that they're able to still keep all of their players alive at this stage, it makes me more optimistic as to how they're approaching this second game of the day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they're approaching it with a lot more caution, but still making sure that they can get some more points, especially a team like 4Kill, because I know that this team is highly, highly aggressive. They play a lot of reckless engagement games, and that's actually what I love to see. When they take on 4v4s, and now that they have this vehicle with them, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to give them a little bit of an edge as to how they're going to press forward once the zone starts to advance, maybe towards that central position. But right now, I believe they have tactical execution right in their sightlines. I don't know if they want to commit to a 4v4 in that area. It doesn't look like it's going to be ideal for them. But for a kill, Rescue Esports, Neon Outlaws, Zen, and even Sambulan. Nah, Sambulan, yeah, they just have a man left. But Sambulan having a man left is still a danger because that guy is probably going to snatch someone away before he goes back to the lobby. That's just how they play. They are just that. They're just scrappers. All the
Mhm.
points that they've gotten so far is bare scrapping. 15 points from bare scrapping is impressive.
Wow. You're just there like, hey, we'll take one from there. We'll take another one from here. Don't worry, I'll hand back this guy into the lobby. And those are the kind of teams you really want to be scared of. Those very wild card teams, the ones that could really pull out things that you're not really expecting too much from them. And you're like, oh, it's just a solo, or you're not even bothered about a solo coming in from behind, and someone is just trying to scout and you're down. And TTK these days isn't very nice. I'm looking at the way FORKILL has been holding that spot, seeing that that zone is starting to close. I think it's one of those cases where if that zone closes and it doesn't favor either them or T3 tactical execution, they are going to slam into those buildings and fight because they're moving like they really want to get themselves into an engagement. And as you said, they're one of those teams that are very aggressive. I'd like to see if they would exact that aggression once the zone closes.
It's all about how the zone closes and where it's going to point these teams. Is that someone with a snapback hat for an esports
I
player?
like it.
I mean,
I'm
it's
sorry, I like it.
I mean, there's a little bit of aura in there, but come on, guys, come on, man. but
Nah.
but but tactical execution. They've got Rohan, who is the front man for them. Tezzy as well. And aspect. These guys have been playing superbly as a team. They had their best game, I believe, in Miramar yesterday. I'm pretty sure they want to do the exact same thing in today's Arangel. At this point yesterday, they had already lost, I think, two players. So they're doing much better today. Phase two of the circle about to close out, and we're about to see who is going to get into that position of the zone that we all know everyone is going to be. And something I learned, from yesterday's games as well is certain teams they tend to play. They tend to believe that this thing we're about to do. Don't worry, nobody else is thinking about it. Best
Mm.
believe me, you're not the only one. And I saw that yesterday. Team Elite, UC Sports, and I think TERRORSIX Wakanda, they thought about going to one particular spot.
Oh.
Phase two of the circle. What a shift! Yeah, man, it's gonna be a long day for these teams in the north and the northwestern side, man. It's gonna be a long day for them, especially RGX. This is not the kind of rotation they would have liked to make because they're blocked off by Mad Esports and Mad Monkeys as well. Even angry up north as well from their position. It is going to be a hard rotation to make.
A really hard rotation. It's also another one where it gets confusing because not only is it, it's not only RRG who are in trouble with respect to what this zone has just done. It's the case of almost everyone else in the lobby. Do you want to stay on the north? Do you want to stay in the Rozok side of the map? Because it's PUBG Mobile. These zones are very unpredictable. You can't really tell if it's going to favor the top side more or if it's going to favor the bottom side more. Or even if it's one of those cases where the bottom side might even have more real estate or more ground, but it's like unplayable ground, right? And there's a lot of that on those shorelines there of Rozok area of the map. This is a very, very tough one, and it's already starting to get tricky as FORKILL looking to get started there with Rescue Esports on that rotation, and it's FORKILL to lose one very early in this one. Rescue Esports getting relatively closer, but these are the kind of fights you want to close up very quickly because that zone is starting to close, or that zone has closed up. It's getting smaller, and there's still 50 players in the lobby, so you know the chances of you getting third partied is very, very high, and they would get that one player out of the way, get themselves one little compound to hold for the time being.
It's all about that compound. But again, I feel it's always good to have different types of play styles in your arsenal. I think some teams at this level, you cannot rely solely on playing inside of, box spaces, compounds, defensive lines, rescue esports, taking a hit from RRG. Again, I saw a lot of this happen in the PMAC. These two teams, they were rocking it up, going against each other time and time again because they play similarly. They rotate even similarly, and but double RG usually comes out on top in scenarios like that. And I don't think it's going to be different this time around because Rescue Sports, I think they lost one or two key players from their original roster, so I think that's hurting them right now. But I think even at that, they are still putting up a good performance. 21 points so far is not too far fetched from a top seven. It's not the worst case scenario, but they just haven't been able to find their footing, just yet. But I was saying, it's always good as a team to have multiple play styles, right? Some teams they are just better at playing inside of a compound, inside of a building, when they have, the start off defensively. It looks
Talk
like
about
Amar. Yeah, I don't know why Amar thought that what he was about to do. He's the only one I thought about it. This is exactly what I said. I don't know why he thought like nobody was going to be behind me. Like, come on, bro. It's 2025. They are behind you. And
Ah.
Baby is going to punish Honcho, and Honcho is never going to get picked up. He's not going to get picked up for sure.
Yeah, oh, it's behind the fence. He's good.
Oh,
It's good.
okay.
It's a
Well,
question of how well they can't push
yeah,
it
yeah. Why so
this
serious?
far.
Yeah, it's too far off. I was thinking they were gonna press it because they know that it's just two players, but because they don't have the points. This is another one of those teams that loves to play inside of a defensive line. They don't like to play in the terrain. And this is exactly what I
Hmm.
was saying earlier on, right? When you give teams terrain and there's not a lot of buildings or compounds where they can play, start off from a defensive position, it doesn't work out for them. But some teams just thrive in no matter the scenario. And those are the teams you always have to look out for.
And those are the kind of teams you want to end up being. But nonetheless, the zone is already starting to close once more. We're about to see that zone get smaller and smaller. This last zone, we did not see too many players go out. I believe we only saw two players go out. That was one from Rescue Esports and the last player there from Sangrula. But now the zone has moved once more. There's still that decision to make. A lot of Rozok is in play. There's the outskirts of Rozok to play as well as the bridge. I think if you're able to hold that little compound beside the bridge, you might have a lot of sightlines try to understand what is going on in the lobby, but there's a lot of players. 45 now, as they're starting to drop like flies. Neon Rising are looking for a way in. And everyone else would also be looking for a way in. There's compounds to play, but it's a question of is there anyone there waiting for you in those compounds?
Right side of those compounds as well, just outside of the sunken city. Tamashi goes down immediately to panic. Why so serious with their first point of this match? But there's still a lot of ground to cover, though. Why so serious? I believe they're playing much better today than they did yesterday, though. Again, I'm seeing a lot of improvement between some of these teams that didn't have the best of starts yesterday, and we're going to keep our eyes on them. But right now, Neon Conan Boy has joined the chat, ladies and gentlemen. He's back in the mix. Good start up now. He's getting a big drop on them. Miggy plays on behind him as well. Elite with a little bit of a late rotation. They're getting absolutely
Ooh.
punished here, but will that be able to work for them? Grenade from Simple, and Skinny is going to be on the receiving end of that one. They're going to be trading off. It's Neon against the current defending champions of La Coupe de Africana. Who's going to come out on top? It's a numbers game, and right now the guys from Elite have a good
Woo!
grenade,
Come
but
out.
immediately the DBS straight to the head, or rather, yes, to K straight to the skull, and Zero had no idea what hit him there. Another grenade. Unfortunately, Simple manages to get his HP just in time. Mangi's getting picked up, and now the scales are balanced.
Yeah, definitely balance 3v3 now as Recalcitrant now continue to send more reinforcements into this fight as Simple there getting bombarded with the grenades, and here comes Kakao. Talk about reinforcement as he starts to throw grenades of his own. He's not even cooking it, he's letting it just fly. That one way or the other you're gonna walk into one of them. And Skinny looking for edges, but Neon Rising replying, or make that Neon Outlaws replying them very well. Mangi falls, and now it is a 2v3. It's now uneven once more. I did say this idea of Elite were not using their grenades in that first game, and right now, throwing on cooked grenades, it makes me think, why are you picking up the grenades? You really need to up those grenade skills.
You absolutely need to up those grenade skills.
Anyway,
Ooh, well, that is. I think there's a word for that. It's called trailing, right? When you can trail the person that's driving with the crosshair. But unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. And in everything that has gone down right now, Neon Outlaws they have not still secured a single point here. Miggy
ooh,
had no idea that the opposition was going to pull up.
still it.
Like, come on, man. That's so unfair. RGX probably gonna be fuming right now because it's the ops. Your biggest ops are stealing your eliminations. It doesn't get more annoying than that, right? But that's just something that always tends to happen. But right now, Conan Boy just waiting, biding his time, just allowing for Elite to peak just a little bit
Uh
more.
oh.
Skinny's advancing his position though. He wants to get a little piece of that action and get that angle covered relatively very quickly. Conan Boy really thought he was smart there. He's gonna be stopped immediately by, I believe, tactical execution. And now they've set their sights on both Neon Outlaws and Team Elite.
Yeah, and that is a very tough spot. All of these teams that you've just mentioned are not in the new circle. That circle has favored Rozok. In fact, the entirety of Rozok is in the circle right now. Everyone needs to get into that circle. And for these teams that find themselves on the north, there really is no bridge that they can go through. So that leaves them with the only option of swimming. They have to swim across that lake. And when you have tall buildings like that in Rozok, and you say you want to swim, you're basically shooting practice. You're going to hope that there's a lot of trouble happening in Rozok to play distraction for you as you try to find your rotation in. But a lot of these teams on the south would find themselves in trouble as RGX are going up against Zen Esports.
Ooh, well, Zenny Sports going to have
Look
an
at that
idea of
angry.
their own there, but Team Angry trying to set this site alive here for 5 eliminations, and they're trying to make sure that they will be able to pack this up. But it looks like
Ooh.
Switch is going to be stopped dead in his tracks as well. S12K not enough to stop Rescue Esports. 5 eliminations, and they are looking to make sure that the
Ah,
job is done. Yep, they're still in the game. Yes, that's the same reaction I just had. I have no idea how they are still in the game. I really thought tactical
ah.
execution was going to pack them up, but no, they're still in the game.
And tactical execution is not doing anything too, right? I'm like, wait, how is Leon rising out of this one? They did have that advantage going into the fight with elites. They lost one player to that third party, so I thought it was a 2v2. Seeing elites on top of this is very surprising. But one thing that is not surprising right now is that blue zone as it has started to move. Everyone is slamming their way into Rozok, abandoning every fight and trying to see if they can make it in. Kaskavi there from Rescue Sports will fall. Shaki is going to make it into that little building with his skin on his tooth as Mad Monkeys are starting to rain bullets down. But here comes RGX to let the Molotov fly. The grenade comes out from Pedro and it is enough to get 2 players down. Is his teammate going to be able to work on that one? Is Shaki. More roads has been cleared and he's making that run for it. Rolling, fall on the floor, roll. And he definitely would get those eliminations. That would be 6. Or make that 5 to his name and 7 for the team as Rescue Esports are down to the last player. And talk about a sacrifice there for Fedro to allow Shaki survive for a little bit longer in this game.
Yeah, he absolutely did, but well done. Absolutely. That's teamwork making the absolute dream work. But it looks like FORKILL starting to get their ring on the game there. RGX sent back into the lobby. The top 3 teams have all been wiped out. So
Mm-hmm.
they can't extend their lead any further. It's a big opportunity for the likes of Rage, Tactical Execution, and Mad Monkeys to finally find their rhythm. Mad Monkeys already up to 9 eliminations. This is the type of game they usually thrive in. But take a look at B13, 4 players up. Them and Double RG, the only 2 teams that have 4 players alive.
But then again, when we're looking at the side of B13, they've not done too much damage. They've not done too much eliminations. You know that their arms, or well, their hands right now, feeling relatively cold to the rest of the players in the lobby who have themselves eliminations already. It's gonna get very, very hard for them, even though they have a full squad still alive. I'm looking at the side of tactical execution. Yes, I understand tactics, but right now the tactics might be getting too much. You need to get into the zone. Right now, they seem to be the only team that is really on that edge of the blue. Every other person that is on the edge of the blue are solos. And for tactical execution, I expected an earlier rotation since they didn't even take part in the fight between Elite and the side there of Neon Outlaws. But anyway, Zone is starting to close up once more, crunching and squeezing these teams amongst each other one again. And now everyone's gonna have to fight this one out. Yay.
I mean, there's nothing you won't see. There's really nothing you won't see. There's really nothing, you know. And Rasta, unfortunately, not so lucky this time around. B13 will lose their first player, getting knocked away there. But unfortunately for them, he is trying to get that one locked into the game. And looks like 4 kills, starting to add a little bit of spice to the game. Amar, 12 eliminations now. Mad Monkey's looking very comfortable. Honcho
Woo!
with a Kobe of a grenade over the top. And now it looks like B13 may have just bitten off a little bit more that they can chew, holding that defensive position. And Mad Monkey is trying to close this down and make sure that this job is done. But the play zone, though, who is it favoring? I think it favors 4 kill. It might be theirs to close this down with because Sal's finally gets a couple of more eliminations for them. They're up to 3 now. A chicken dinner for 4 kill will throw a spanner in the works for a lot of teams in that bubble.
I mean, they did start the day up in that top seven, and right now they went out of it from that first game, and they're like, "Yo, relax, boys. We only just wanted to take a breather." Right now, it does look like that chicken dinner is on their mind. But with the Mad Monkeys playing the way they are right now, that combo between Honcho and Amar is seeming to decimate a lot of teams right now. That is going to be a very tough force to go up against. And B13, I did say the arms weren't warmed up enough, and right now they're already starting to lose players as they try to find a rotation into the circle. Two players already down, but Mad Monkey's already up to 12 eliminations. Amar has 8.
8 eliminations. I mean, that MVP is calling, and Amar's about to answer the call if he hasn't answered it already. 12 eliminations for Mad Monkeys. I mean, this is the type of game, like I said, this is the type of game they like. Look at that. They're
Oh,
peeking into the corner.
easy
You
QZ.
should be
Stop
focused
it.
on him already. The moment you burst out of that back line, you should be focused on the opposition right in front of you. But
Yeah,
Masakaza
GG's.
is GG's for him. Double RG with a sight line and a half. Now, this is the team that needs to win.
Oh,
And they've turned it around. 4 kill immediately, making Mad Monkeys feel the pressure. Grenade starting to fly all the way through. Good smoke from Honcho. Amar still knocked away though, and he might be getting picked up here. If the smokes align perfectly, he might turn things around. Med Sauce is probably going to turn this around if he can get the angles right, but Honcho is still protected by that little bit of
Ooh.
cover.
RRAGE. It's the question of what are you going to do. They should understand what is going on already. They've got 3 players left in the lobby. They know that they have to deal with this team that is up on that high ground, and that is where I want to see them draw relatively closer to see if they can do it. There is no world, there is no way Amar
Can't
just
allow
got
this.
revived
There's
for
no way.
kill.
Oh my days. My word. Amar is getting picked up. There is no way. I mean, I said it was a possibility. The smokes were right, and the smokes were definitely right. Oncho,
Hmm.
Oble, la 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 la, grenades.
Oh,
Wow.
and
Melio.
here comes our rage now, finally, to start to do damage as the side of 4Q find their way into the warehouse. It might not have been safe on the top of that high ground, but this warehouse might give them a little bit of cushion. The grenade lands from Milio, and that is the off angle there, gone and out of the way. And Mad Monkeys, you have to admire the amount of information that they're working with right now, knowing that that player up there is knocked, and you can just see them start to just take those fights little by little. But the damage now as outrage, they're staying very cautious on this one, trying to throw the grenades into that warehouse, and they understand that pushing might just be setting yourself up for third party. It's a question of how do you want to play this one out. Mad Monkeys are storming in there, and what a play from Ocho.
I mean, using this vehicle to turn out, unfortunately, didn't work the way he was expecting, and that's going to be the end of the road for him. Amar is still creeping up in the distance. He hasn't made too much of a move there, but he might be getting spotted out. Trade off. Double RG now pressing forward. They want a way through. Mamoon plays behind. He was knocked away earlier on, but he has been picked up. There's trouble right now for Mad Monkeys. Amar's position has been compromised. He doesn't have a lot of real estate to work with. Double RG have the numbers. They have every single advantage. They have some utilities to work out with as well. S12 in hand. But Double RG, can they make sure that Amar is dealt with? Because he's the biggest threat to this press. Four
I mean,
kill. 4 kill, they don't want to, they don't want to leave the warehouse as well.
yeah, they have that warehouse advantage. It's a case of whoever can try to push into us. But it gets very hard when you have Amal on the side, who's pushed into the building now, but down he falls. That is the information that our rage need. And now they're starting to move in little by little, but they're still playing it very cautious because this warehouse does have angles, and those angles is what the side there of 4Kill Esports are currently holding right now. This is as easy as it looks. It's not as easy because those 2 angles that they're holding with that exploded vehicle on their side doesn't make this push any easy for the side of our rage.
It absolutely does not make it any easier. And now Amar finally dispatched in the 3 versus 2 here. Double RG, they need this chicken dinner, but they don't need it more than 4 kill. If 4 kill to get his chicken dinner, it puts them into a very, very nice, comfortable spot to contend for that top 7. Right now, Double RG have comfortably sat inside of the top 7, but now 4 kill, if they can get this right, everything works in their favor. Big
Ooh.
spray coming into the corner right now, and that would be the opportunity that 4 kill could use as they're sending it forward there. But Theo trying to bag it in, can't seem to get it through, and will reset He's running out of bullets. He's only got 21 in the chamber for that AUG.
Woo.
He's trying to make sure this works. Melio has resorted to using the pan. He's trying to send the bullets back, but it's not going to work. Theo plays off the left-hand side, trying to circle back. 4 kill. If they can get Melio into the corner, this is where the grenade would have come in clutch. But unfortunately, everyone is burned out on utilities.
And you can't even blame them. It's been one heck of a game. You've had to take fights up against different teams before you get to this point, and almost every one of those teams were putting in work. And right now, they're just out here resorting to pans, and hopefully, they're able to make a statement here. But the fear of off angle is the beginning of wisdom. That is what the side there of RRAGE are banking on. And Melio, he understands that he cannot go out. The distraction is being played here from RRAGE. And man, shotguns in this game make life so hard. This is the final circle, and everything starts to close. Melio is able to get away from the rock, and here comes the damage being done. Sal's trying to see if he can find an off angle. One player force make that two, as it's going to be Melio with just a slither of HP left to hold down the fort. They know that they do not have that HP to work with, and they send him back and back in as RRAGE fall. And FORKILL needed that chicken dinner. They played it carefully. They said, this is my castle, and they played that little warehouse well, and they got themselves that winner chicken dinner with 8 eliminations.
Woo! 4 kill, well deserved. These guys have been fighting. They have been fighting, and I talked about them. Remember when I talked about them when they were in Rozok, and I was asking if they were going to go up against the guys from Tactical Execution, where they had that BRDM just chilling. I said that this is a team that they are playing better than they did yesterday, because yesterday they would have been going out looking for eliminations at that point in the game, but this time around they played a little bit slower and they tried to understand the big picture. Worked out perfectly in their favor. Chicken dinner, 8 eliminations. This is how you add to your dynamic.
And that is just well played from them. 4Kill. It seems seeing that yesterday, one thing that led to our demise was us taking early fights and us being impatient, and them coming into today going for that patient style of gameplay. That is exactly what they needed to do, because if you look at this, Patience really won them the game tonight. And when he got to the end of it, just have to admire that man Mamoon, as he was able to get himself those 2 knocks to grab himself, to grab that team, grab their team actually, an advantage against that fight to make it a 2v1. What a way to play the game. RRAGE didn't, I can't even say this is what RRAGE did wrong. They didn't have nades, they couldn't push into that building, they had to wait it out. But unfortunately, instead of waiting for them to push out of the building, they pushed into the building with them, and that was where both of their players did go down to amazing shotgun coming in through from Mamoon.
Big game players, 4 kill, but it tells you a lot. I mean, total heals 8k in Arangel. Yeah. I mean, for Arangel to have 8k heals, same as Rondo in the previous game, that's to tell you that people were getting dropped and getting picked up because nobody was going to sacrifice any teammates in this game. But that is the 7 grenade eliminations. A lot of bodies going at the expense of grenades. Big shout out to Amar. I'm pretty sure he was responsible for a bunch of them. But take a look at that. 2,400, basically 2,500 in damage points. They are doing the exact same numbers that Elite did in the previous game.
And look at the number of eliminations they were able to get as well, 14, and they got 13 knocks. So it's not even like they were stealing eliminations. They really were fighting. And Mad Monkeys, if they're a team that is able to grab this much eliminations being a duo, I would really like to see them maintain their full squad going into the rest of the game, because that is something that we did speak about a whole lot during that game. Them not really being able to get into, later phases with their players, losing players on almost every single fight. That is something they have to curb, and hopefully we'll start to see even better numbers from them.
Amar, MVP, finally. I knew that he carried this one on his head. And now, what a performance he has had in this game. 10 eliminations, 1,200 in damage points, 6 knocks, 33 minutes on the clock. Big game player. Amar finally finding his form after a terrible run of games up until this stage. But right now, Mad Monkeys, once again, they find and they add a little bit more to the dynamic. But take a look at that,
I just clocked it though. Mad Monkeys had 14 eliminations, and Amar had 10.
I didn't want to. Do we want to start that line of conversation?
And I'm
You
not even saying. I'm only admiring it. That just goes to show you like the work that he's done. And this is one thing that you should just double down on the conversation we're having in Rondo about him not being that player that they want to lose. And even seeing how they were able to tactically revive him at that later phases of the circle today. Sorry, in this game, that's
yes.
absolutely nice. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And it shows. It shows. It heavily shows. He is absolutely phenomenal. 19.4 Mad Monkeys, 4K with 18. You would think Mad Monkeys won the game, but it wasn't them. Double
I mean,
RG, double RG in third place with 11 points.
one would even like if they had survived just a little longer, they would have even gotten themselves 20 points. You think again, you think they're the one that won the game, but nonetheless, have to start looking at the other teams as well. RRAGE able to get themselves second place with 5 eliminations. I think RRAGE could have pushed up onto 4Q early on in this game, especially when they still had that high ground. I think it was something they could have pushed, but stayed a little bit shy of that one. And wait, we just one game. Miramar is already in the overall top players. That's wow, is all I'm just saying today. I'm sorry, but wow.
10 eliminations in a single game. Nobody else has done that. The closest to that was still in this game. The previous game, that was
8.
Cacao. Yeah, that was still Cacao. That
Mhm.
was still today. But Amar, he's had joined to the games that he did have yesterday. Now, those conversations, they start to be clear. They've adapted, they've understood. 3,700 in damage points. He's even leading the damage points by a significant number. Switch is now chasing behind him, and Xenos is still in the conversations with Fabzo and Aspect.
Yeah, now this is where statements are being made. How long can you hold your spots in this overall top players? You want to be number one, but then again, it's always nice to see yourself in that top 5 race. Fazio still maintain his place in here. 15 eliminations with 2,100 damage so far as the game has gone. But right now, Arangel does seem to have played out well. I enjoyed what I've seen there. All of those teams being able to find the rotation in what seemed to be a very, very tough rotation for all of them to do. They were able to find their way in, and wow, just like that, one eliminate or one good game got ZEUS and MORIS into the top 7, and one more game has gotten them out of that top 7. It is a battle here, Priest.
Yeah, it's a big battle, and like I said, we're going to be keeping our eyes on this bubble position because the way it's switching, Mad Monkeys were not in the top 7, they were not even close, but now that performance puts them inside the conversation. Now potentially they're not even far off from a top 3 finish. 6 games in, double RG and 4Kill Esports. 4Kill Esports now in a conversation as well. That chicken dinner puts them into a nice spot. Tactical execution, still adding some points there, staying inside of the top 8. ZEUS MORIS, chicken dinner was great, but it's all about consistency. They've been shifted out of the top 7, and now Neon Outlaws have been shifted out of the top 8 completely.
And this is where it gets is you start wondering what is going on that second half of the table, and again it's still close. It's still a case where you could get yourself a very good chicken dinner. Well, at this point it's starting to look like you need a very good chicken dinner, but then again, I almost want to say there is one day left. But with the way those teams on that top 8 are playing, in fact, you can bleed it out up to Rescue Esports. With how they are playing, it's looking very close. You can't even be saying, oh, maybe the 3 will try to do something, because by then it might be too late.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And there's a chance that anything can happen. This next game is going to be a statement, a big statement from these teams. Who is going to, hold on to that top 7? Because that bubble has shifted so many times today, and it's just 2 games in. Those teams that were outside of the top 7, some teams smell top 7 for 40 minutes. Now they're out already. Can they get back into the top 7? We're going to have the next Arangel right after the break, ladies and gentlemen. It's La Cup Season 3. We'll be right back for more mobile action.
Campus Game Fest 2025, and we are live at the University of Ibadan. Game on. Hi, this is Precious. So I'm at Game Fest, and this is my first time coming to Game Fest, and I've been loving it so far. My favorite game of the day is Just Dance.
My name is Osaz. I won the FC25 tournament. But it was a very tough tournament, especially the first game. I went to penalties after extra time.
Yes, Kamala Farina.
Be exactly like that.
Oh, we are going exactly into it, and we were making our predictions for that game. Unfortunately, you guys did not hear it, but these are conversations that we'll be having behind your backs. That being said, we're about to get started in the second angle of the day. The playing path doesn't look too far from the last one. It is not nice nonetheless, and we're looking forward to seeing how this one would play out. Teams get another chance this time to fix mistakes that they've made in that first angle game of the day.
You gotta avoid those mistakes though. Playing path, I think this is quite similar to what we had in the previous game, right? But it was just the other way around. The plane was coming from Primorsk towards Savannah. So I think Elite are gonna like this one right up their alley. They're moving straight to Savannah, uncontested. But some teams are not gonna like this one though, because it's going to force them to probably use their secondary landing location, Team Angry, and a couple of other teams. But now we're going to see who's going to stand on business. We saw how that leaderboard was looking in the after the previous game. Some teams they tasted top 7 for just a moment. It felt good, but now can they do better? Can they make sure that the top 7 is going to, be consistent?
Yes, sir. Third game of the day. The games are starting to get shorter and shorter. You do not have many more games to go. So right now, you need to lock in, because after game one, after Rondo, we said, oh, all you need is one good game. But now after after that first Arangel game, it's not more all you need is one good game. You need a chicken dinner. And we did see the side there of FORKILL show that, yeah, you need that chicken dinner, find your way back into that top 7. Ooh, we've got arrows now. But yeah, that is one thing that I want to see now from these teams, how the approach would be. As I said in that last game, we saw many of those teams that were on the bottom side have all their players alive going into the final phases of the game. Unfortunately, the numbers didn't even play too well for them. I will blame it on such terrible circle. But now this game, I hope they can do better. The circle almost looks similar, but I think this one would be more southern than anything else.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think it's going to be much more southern than, the other circles that we've had. A lot of teams are going to have a whole tricky stop of how they are going to make their rotations, because they're probably already starting to do the math in their heads. FORKILL coming off a chicken dinner. Can they do more of the same inside of this game? Already? It's not even been up to a minute. You look at your parking. It's just unfortunate. That car is already cooked.
Well, bicycle would be the means of rotation. It will not get you to your teammates right in time. As Blaze is doing the opposite of Blaze right now. We know Blaze to be the second fastest man right now. Blaze right now on the bicycle will not get to his teammates right on time. And there's only so much you can do from here on out. Rescue Esports have been looking very strong. And right now they've grabbed themselves 2 elimination early on in the game. Blaze and the rest of B13. Just that one player would have to try to slowly play this one out and hope that they can get nice placements and maybe scrap some eliminations. Maybe tear a little bit out of the Sangan, was it? The SB. Yeah.
BRÜLANT.
BRÜLANT.
I like their name, and I always say with an accent too. Some people say it's BRÜLANT, but I just say it's BRÜLANT because because it
Because
sounds
why
like
not?
BRÜLANT,
It's easy.
BRÜLANT.
Yeah.
Yeah, BRÜLANT.
If
But
that was how it was pronounced before, pronounce it like that from now.
real for real, because I don't even think I'm ever going to say it any other way than just sang BRÜLANT. Without BRÜLANT, without
Roland.
as it goes off with a yeah,
And
yeah,
oui,
oui
in
oui,
la Coupe de Africana. We are speaking le français.
Bemi Debe.
Yes, sir.
Team Angry though, they've been quiet today, can't lie. They have been very
Mm-hmm.
quiet today. It's just fortunately for them, Switch has been putting in a shift. He has been again, what is with all of this parking? Jeez. What are they? Why is everyone parking so recklessly? I don't even understand what the plan is. But like I was saying,
ChatGPT.
you know, like Team Angry, right? They've been playing really, really slow today. Yesterday they were dropping serious numbers, right? Currently sitting with 56 points. Now they're within touching distance of about four other teams. Double RG, FORKILL, Tactical Execution, Mad Monkeys are all within touching distance of that top three position. So Angry are now really, really threatened. Elite
Very.
and RGX clear at the top, unless the two of them run into each other relatively very early in this game, which is unlikely. But then they have almost similar rotational patterns, but I don't think they're going to run into each other, this early. But going into the next phase of the circle, I think we're still going to have 16 teams.
Yeah, we definitely have to. They are right now. Everyone's far from each other, or everyone has landed away from each other. They should be able to make their moves into the circle relatively nicely, or find better places in this first circle. Relatively nice spots to hold. Mad Monkeys, I'm still gonna keep my eye out on you, but I still have to touch on Team Angry because it's looking as though they came into today's games with the mindset of, well, what we just need is top seven. We just need to put up just little numbers up on board. All we need to do is top seven, but that's how it starts. And all of a sudden, you're already finding yourself in sixth position, seventh position, where you're the one guarding the bubble. And once you start finding yourself at that point at the end of day two, you're going to have to come into day three with a whole lot of anxiety.
I mean, anxiety is the right word. It's been a while. Since the PMAC, it's been a while since I saw, competition that is end to end like this,
Mm-hmm.
where it's not one team that's tearing through the lobby or anything
Mm-hmm.
or along those lines. I mean, take a look at Team Elite. They are fighting for it. They are not just, RGX isn't letting them run away with it. They are fighting for it. They know that if they slip up top spot, they lose out. But at this stage of the tournament, it's still a matter of getting inside of the top seven. And I think Team Elite, with a couple of more games, I think they should be able to seal it. 100 points should get the job done. But we'll see if they can manage that, today and see if it's going to be ideal for them. But Angry though, like I said, Switch has been putting in a shift, but now they're within touching distance. Now they can even be in fifth, sixth place, because these other
Mm-hmm.
teams that are behind them are swallowing up the gap.
Especially seeing the way RRAGE FORKILL and the Mad Monkeys played that last game, right? You see that these teams are playing it not just for placements, but they're also upping it in terms of elimination. So you can tell that they're really on that chase, trying to make sure that they're not one of those teams that when we say, oh, your spot is being threatened, they're not one of those teams that find themselves in those situations. Right now, looking forward to seeing the first rotations is what we're looking at right now. I wouldn't even say it's really rotations, it's really just finding a just calm spots to hold before that circle makes his first move, so you kind of know the trajectory of the rotation that you have to continue alongside the game. Right now, Zen Esports looking to bring the trouble onto the players there from TERRORSIX Wakanda, and it is a lot of trouble as LB happening to just have to rely on one very slim tree to hold down his fort. But it's not enough as he would fall in style, adding more flowers to that tree as Zen Esports stay on their toes, get themselves for elimination, lose no players, and send TERRORSIX back into the lobby.
Unfortunate scenes for TERRORSIX, right? The team sitting in ninth place, 31 points to the good. Look at who has eliminated them. A team with
Hmm.
19 points.
Hmm.
That is how it's so crazy because this is a team currently sitting in 12th place. Now, eliminating TERRORSIX Wakanda puts the pressure on, Rescue Esports, on Neon Outlaws. It puts them into a tough spot because now they know that they need to add significantly more number of points to make sure that Zenith do not catch up to them because Zenith, or Zen Esports are not too far away. everyone is going to be doing a whole lot of mathematics, especially in for that top 7 position where
Hmm.
Mad Monkeys are currently sitting in.
And that is a very good start for Z Esports, right? You coming into this game with 19 points. You're looking at the bubble having 43, but the team just after that bubble is 32, which is within catching distance, right? Now with those 4 points, they've already gotten themselves to like 20 something points total. So right now they balance that with some placements, get themselves more eliminations. I see them going above even TERRORSIX if they're able to continue with this prowess and finish this game on a very good foot.
You know, I mean, it's all about strategies, you know. I mean, it's phase 1 of the circle. There's a lot of time to gather a lot of intel, tactical execution. You can see them just trying to hold this little position outside of Rozok. There's nobody in Rozok though, so I'm pretty sure they did actually play from inside of Rozok. They've emptied all of these buildings, and now they're just trying to gather intel as the play zone shrinks even further. But if we can see, you know, the potential for some of these teams and their rotations right now. Tactical execution. I mean, I love what they're doing, but it's a little bit too premature. Ooh, well, the action from the previous game continues into this one.
Mm-hmm.
FORKILL and Mad Monkeys in this area again. Mad Monkeys in this position, getting caught out. Franco gets knocked away though, but it doesn't look like much will come in the
That's a
way of this one.
grenade.
That's a fantastic grenade. Tony goes down. FORKILL punishing Mad Monkeys yet again. Honcho and Klaus now working overtime. Klaus is spotted and immediately gonna get knocked
Oh,
away by Metos, and FORKILL putting the bruise to the Mad Monkeys. Fresh off that chicken dinner, they know what time it is. They know that they will not relinquish that position. He has to go and pick Franco up. Klaus is still very much in the conversation, and that is going to be the end of the road for Klaus. Amar is already back into the lobby once again. That top 7 slips from the fingers of the team that just made it in there.
and here comes Saus, but Medsos has exposed himself too early. Onchon has got a grenade being cooked. You can get that revive up, but if that grenade is cooked very well, you will find yourself down.
No,
Honcho forced to
no.
let go of that grenade now. He should have held it. He could have thrown it in his face. And Saus trying to see if he can maintain that pressure. But after this, he might just have one player left to hold on the fort, and he could have gotten that revive
Yeah.
nonetheless. Right now, they're buying a lot of time. It's a question of when does he want to do it. That's the grenade to get that elimination. And South could just hold it up in here, but then again, the more time he stays here, the more the chances of him losing more players. He has to get at least one revive back up. He's gonna get med source. I think FORKILL aren't playing this one well.
Yeah.
They didn't have to lose one more player. They could have held there on their fort even better as Honcho now starts to go for the push.
Yeah. The pressure, I mean, the pressure is on. I think they spotted him there. Fortunately for him, that vehicle is right there to apply, or rather to soak up some of that pressure. 2 versus 1 there for Honcho. Pops the Molotov
That's a good
immediately.
one.
He's going for a 1v1. Trouble right now. Honcho has the advantage. He has the
Come on.
HP. Jump shot is good, and he's forced out into the open now. They will get him. They will get him. That was a perfect play for FORKILL. You saw what they did there. They forced him out wide into the open, and it worked perfectly. But that was a big risk, but it did pay off. You know, because some players would have hopped into the BRDM and they would have been out of there. But, you know, they stood on business and made sure they eliminated the Mad Monkeys.
If there were to be a shotgun in the hands of Oncho, that could have been an entirely different story. But nonetheless, the side there of the side there of 4Q remained alive in this one. 2 players to hold on the forts. Definitely not what they want, but right now they have no choice but to play with it. And what looked like a zone that will keep going south has chosen to go north, and now the teams find themselves in almost exact situation that they found themselves in the last game.
And this is something that some of these teams were not expecting to happen again. But they have to find their way around this to make sure that they can capitalize on what the play zone has in store for them. Logic trying to find a way through for ZEUS Esports as they've got a couple of points so far today, but didn't necessarily have the best of games in the previous game. Hopefully they will be able to add a little bit more there. But Faker circling back, it looks like they want to play onto the high ground position. It looks like they have a strategy they want to employ here, but they're outside of the play zone, so it would be ideal for them to make that advance a little bit closer. I believe they have Who is that down there? It's Zen Esports, and we said it, there's stats on them, but Zelda immediately gets a knock on Lucifer, and that is trouble now for the guys from ZEUS Morris. And Lucifer will be getting flushed down again. They lose out a player barely after phase two of the circle.
Oh, that's not fun. That is not fun for them at all, Zeus Morris. I was about to ask, how is that rotation working out for them right now? I thought they would have lost more than one on that, but right now they've lost just the one. I hope they are there to count their losses, count their injuries, and make it further into that circle. Where they're holding currently might look like a good spot right now, but if there's one thing that I think they should have learned from that game is that from the last game is that when that circle is looking like this, I don't think you want to maintain that edgy play that you're playing. And I'm going to pause on that as Neon Rising take the trouble onto the side there of tactical execution. It's going to be a trade right now, 1-for-1, and Skinny to hold down the fort now up against Rohan.
Neon, Big Zin did manage to get one under the books there, but tactical execution, they love playing like this. They love games like this. It looks like Neon Outlaws probably have their number and starting to dial it. Miggy already making a rotation towards the right-hand side and getting out of dodge. If Big Zin can get picked up, hopefully this might work in their favor. But Skinny is immediately called by Rohan, and it's going to be GG's for him. And Big Zin most likely going to be joining him. And it doesn't look like much will come through in that regard. Is he going to go for the reset? I believe he can. And hopefully, if he can get his teammate picked up, it can work in his favor. Probably going to put him inside the vehicle. But no, he's going to pick him up right there, right in front of RGX.
And they're not even pushing Zen Esports, which is very interesting. Oh, well, sorry, RGX, and even the side of tactical esports, or sorry, tactical execution. I thought they would have pushed up there onto that fight, knowing that it was just the one player that was left. Right now, they left that one alone, and they've gone for a different type of rotation. RGX now have made their way into the circle around the ruins area, looking to hold themselves proper real estate, and this is one thing I like to see from there, because right now I sincerely I don't expect to see any team that still has 3-4 players alive. I don't want to see them on the edge of the circle, because it's just like, you can't be on the edge. Seeing the way the last game played out, you're gonna eventually have to pick between, or pick somewhere very, very close to those waters or to the lake, and you don't want to be as far out from that. You want to be close to it, so when that zone shifts, you find yourself in prime gatekeeping position, and again on the edge that you like to play.
Absolutely right. I mean, having all of those numbers and still trying to hang around by the edge of the circle is going to be a very, very difficult ordeal at this stage because of the sheer number of, teams that are still very much available and the sheer number of players as well. 39 to be exact. That's still a lot of bodies for a phase two circle, and we're probably going to have that deep into phase four of the circle as well. But Rozok is the place to be right now for RRG and the likes of Rescue Esports if they can get their plans in order. 4 eliminations for them as well. ZEUS managed to steal one away, so they continuously add more pressure. Right now, there's a lot of distance between Mad Monkeys and ZEUS Esports, and even the guys from Rescue Esports. They need a whole lot of points, to make sure that they are still in those conversations.
And right now, I'm pretty sure the side of Mad Monkeys are watching this game with a little bit of relief, seeing that the teams that are below them are starting to lose numbers early on in the game, or well, going in, actually, this is still stage 2, right? Seeing that those teams that are closer to them are losing players, losing more players as they go into the later phases of the circle. That gives them a little bit of a breather, at least going into that fourth game where they can perhaps redeem themselves. But that's not doing the exact same thing that they did in the last one. This time it has favored the northern side. And here's what I was saying about getting relatively closer, because I mean, players that are out there in ruins in of the map should the need come around, and it looks like they're going for early rotations. They're not looking to risk anything, and that's one thing. Again, we saw it in that last game. If you want to really play well in this type of zone, you really want to make sure those rotations are early.
You definitely want to make sure that those rotations are early. I mean, take a look at that. All of them vying towards playing in the eastern side. Big Zim getting knocked away for the second time in a row. Neon Outlaws have been having a struggle inside of this competition in this day 2 of the gauntlet stages again. But Miggy is going to have to abandon his teammate this time around. Shaki pursues him with the M4, but it doesn't look like much is going to come out of that one. He spins out. Violence goes down. Faker is the one that draws blood from that from the guys from Zen Esports. They're in trouble. Big Zen still knocked away, still out in the open, and that is going to be the end of the road for him at the behest of a Rescue Esports. Elimination is about to go up to 5 now as Shaki makes the job done.
And I think Zen Esports would have had a better game if they had chosen to rotate deeper into the circle, and as compared to trying to lurk out on the edges, especially from when that circle got close to the point where it starts to look like a replica of the last game. You want to be as close to the center as possible, so when that next circle shifts, you would either find yourself on the edge or relatively close to the new circle's edge, which is ideally where you want to be. So if you want to play edge, yes, you play edge, but you don't necessarily have to start playing edge from the beginning of the game, right? When the zone calls for it, sometimes you want to put yourself in positions whereby you know that going into that next circle, now you would be the ones on the edge. But when we're talking about edge, we're talking about Mad Esports as they're looking to go up against the side there of Why So Serious.
I mean, why so serious? They have been inching and inching all the way through, but it doesn't look like Mad Esports want to capitalize on this. Baby is going to spin all the way back. There's a lot of Overwatch and a lot of protective cover coming through from Kakashi, and it does work to send them all the way back, and they will have to reiterate how they want to make their rotation here. Probably going to pack themselves up inside of that little building, and it looks like that will be the idea. I mean, it would be ideal for them to make a little bit of a rotation towards that position and take it away. The likes of BRÜLANT haven't moved into the zone just yet. They are biding their time, gathering intel. I think they're aware of why so serious occupying that position, and they might decide they want to make a much softer rotation on their angles there. You can see them already making a play for it. Double RG though, no points in this game so far. That's quite an interesting dynamic because I was expecting them to, go guns blazing, seeing the performance they had in the previous game.
I mean, this time they find themselves on the northern side of the circle where there wasn't too many teams, and seeing the way that zone is. And I think right now, from here on out, is where we might start to see some eliminations for RRAGE. They're holding a very strong compound in the circle, and I think it's a spot that eventually teams would really want to take. And I want to see if it's a case of they can really defend that compound, get themselves some more eliminations, or if they wait for that next circle shift and, if need be, push out of that building to see if they can grab themselves some eliminations. I mean, there's still 32 players, so still a lot to go around.
Yeah, there's still a lot to go around. There's still a lot of bodies that can be dropped. And Mad Esports, I mean, if Mad Esports get 10 points from this game, it changes everything. It changes everything, especially for the rest of the other teams that are going to be sitting, in their vicinity. But we're going to see if that's going to be the case for
Oh,
the
that's nasty.
nasty shift. I mean, Elite looking good, though. They're the only team inside of the circle, and you can tell they knew exactly what they were doing. They know exactly why they were doing it the way they are. This is one of those chicken dinner games. This is exactly how they won third game yesterday. This is how Elite won the third game yesterday. They played exactly like this, slow and steady, and they won the game. How's UC Sports getting caught out in the open? Logic hopefully he can get back into his vehicle, but it doesn't look like he can. And RGX have him in their sights. Going blow for blow with Elite. Logic getting knocked away there by Xenos, and that's going to be the end of the road for him as well. His teammate will have to abandon it, and it looks like lost cause. And RGX will add yet another body to their mix, continuously chasing the guys from Elite.
And what a rotation that RGX have embarked on in this game. They were on the deep south before, and I was watching them. Went for that very, very long rotation through Jojopo. And right now, it's almost like they're starting the game as though the game just started for them. I know they land around that northeastern side, and right now we can already, sorry, not western side, and we see them just rotating as though it's a regular game of PUBG Mobile. But then again, in other parts of the map, we have trouble. It's Rescue Esports shooting at BRÜLANT as they're not quite able to find a bridge that is safe enough to get them into that next circle. Right now, BRÜLANT would have to start thinking of how they can play this game without those vehicles, because it doesn't look like there's a way to get it across to the other side unless they want to go all the way around that Yasnaya side. And if they can pull that off early enough, they might just be able to find themselves in that next circle.
It's all about finding yourself in the right side of the circle. Hopefully, you don't get caught out But right now, Rescue Esports have a lot of ground they need to cover. They've got 6 eliminations. It's a good start, but even with all that, they're still not in the top seven. That is how chaotic it is. And Rescue Esports, they have a lot of ground they need to cover. All the other teams can't seem to find their way through, though. But there's a big chance for that top spot to be rattled, as Angry already have only one player alive. Sampula also trying to make a name for themselves here. But they only got 3 players up. Right now, ZC Sports, somehow they have done an all or nothing and crashed into a compound, and they are willing to stay here for the duration of this game.
And then again, I'm looking at the side. I'm looking at the leaderboards, and I'm pretty sure the side of Mad Monkeys would be happy with what is happening right now. A lot of the teams that are going down and losing players happen to be those teams that are just below them. Again, when you're the team that is holding the bubble, it comes with a little bit of anxiety where you're watching each game if you don't survive to see and make sure and hope that these teams that are below you do not put up a very great performance, as we're starting to see numbers reduce all across the board. But the top teams still maintaining all 4 players alive. That is dangerous when you start looking at the later phases and final circle of this game.
Yeah, absolutely dangerous. I mean, we've seen Double RG do the exact same thing time and time again, but is it going to work for them this time around? They do have 4 players up. They do have a lot of ground that they are looking to cover here, but FORKILL have a better idea. They're trying to lock this
Ooh.
up and make sure that he can't make anything happen for Double RG. Good grenade, fantastic grenade, but Melio has been spotted immediately and most likely going to get punished there because his teammate has been caught out and they're going to spin the block on him. It's RGX that are pulling up into that position. There's going to be trouble right now for Double RG because they will press forward. And Melio has to
Thankfully,
apply some of that pressure as well to hold into the lines, but it doesn't look like they will be able to get that player picked up.
I was going to say, thankfully for them, it was only the scouts from RGX that pushed up onto them. But right now, that is not the case anymore. As now they've got reinforcement, they've got the entire squad pulling in and crashing in like mad dogs. Here comes Xenos to try to see if he can find himself some more intel. And that is the intel that he needs. He's gotten that information. Grenades now are starting to be loaded up. RRG have gotten that revive. They're not close to the circle. If they can get into a vehicle and leave, now will be the time. SZQ goes down once more. And I do not know if RRAGE want to wait for the possibility of grabbing that revive. The vehicles are starting to get battered up and grenades are starting to fly as RGX continue to maintain that prowess and pressure onto the side of RRAGE.
RGX looking very confident in their press, but SSZQ has been picked up. And now Double RG back to full strength. RGX got to be careful now because Double RG loves to play in positions like this. Melio already applying some of that pressure at an off angle position to reiterate how they want to play out from there. Palabala already making the advance into the circle, coming in from the northern side, and RGX could be in some trouble right now. They are pressing him forward. Fazzo might be getting knocked away. He might be getting pulled out as he makes a dash, a mad dash for the zone, but they've realized that this is going to burn through their resources, and they're finding their way back into the zone.
That was a very mature statement coming through from both teams, especially RRAGE, letting the side there of RGX know that, hey, look, we do not want to take this fight. There's only 10 seconds before the zone starts to close. None of us are in the circle. It's not gonna be worth it. Let's just leave here. And that is what you call a peaceful retreat coming through from both of those teams as they're able to postpone that fight for later times. But Mad Esports, or well, later times happens to be now, as we're already starting to see the players there from RGX drop one after the other. But as I said, Mad Esports, they're looking to push a little bit of trouble in this one as that zone moves away from everyone else.
Yeah, big game, very big game coming through from Double RG right now. They've managed to steal one away from the guys from RGX, and now this could be something special for Double RG. A lot of opportunity to sink inside of the zone there. We saw ZEUS Esports with their plan, and it looks like they're gonna stick to it. Elite already putting the pressure on now. 7 eliminations, 4 players alive. And this is exactly what I saw yesterday. But Fazzo is not having any of his stitches immediately. So the AUG cracked the defensive line that WRG have and trying to hold there, but Elite plays behind them, and there's a big chance
Push it.
for this game to turn around. If RGX want to capitalize on this, they're man short. They need to make sure Double RG do not get inside of the zone. But there's a lot of bodies in the area. Simple already making a play for it. RGX know that they need to make sure that Double RG do not advance. And here
Uh
they
oh.
come. They want to capitalize, but that's four bodies, and Simple will catch Xenos slipping out in the open, and this is exactly how the cookie crumbles.
Elites are playing so wide right now. They're third party. They have their hands in every fight that is happening in the zone so far. For like the last 2 minutes, they've been involved in every fight that has happened so far, and that is how they've gotten themselves 8 eliminations. You blink and you miss it. They were just chilling before, where we were saying, they are starting things slow. They were in the center of the circle, but now that they find themselves on the edge, they're starting to sweep and clear. But here comes RRAGE as they rotate once more to find a way into the circle. But Favian throws a grenade now to slow down that rotation, to slow down that push coming through from them. But when you have three players, there's only so much you can do. And I have to admire RRAGE for the fact that they prioritize keeping all four players alive and also the zone.
Yes, absolutely incredible performance from them, being able to hold the zone, hold the line, and hold all of the possible angles that they've got so far. But the job is not finished. Elite finally having a player knocked away, but Kakao is probably going to have something about that as well. He gets a drop, and that will be the end of the road for Double RG. And now it is that is going to be the end of the road for one of the players, I believe, for Double RG. It's a 3 versus 4 now. Elite. This is exactly how they won the last game yesterday. Match number 3 yesterday. This is how Elite won. They played exactly like this, and it looked like the second time is going to be the charm. But now Double RG have to play with what
Palabala don't
take
shoot
a look
it.
at Palabala's position. He's giving it away. He has given it away. Elite know that he's there now. That's probably gonna get him knocked
It's too
away
easy.
immediately. Gets him punished to the side. Elite. We are elite for a reason. Grenade, 1-for-1,
Oh.
kill the next victim. Yes, he's there, packs it in. Melio gets the first drop, but he's getting so overwhelmed. He's no match. Elite with that chicken dinner, well deserved, perfectly executed, and that is how you get the job done.
Ask any of your AIs, Siri, Alexa, ChatGPT, any one of them. How do you define perfection? It is the way Recalcitrants have played this game. 2100 on the dots, 15 eliminations. They played this well. I was going to say, I want to see how they're going to make it into the zone, because RRAGE didn't have the circle, and I thought they were going to get keep. But look at how they played that. Palabala letting it, the instance Palabala went down, handed the game over to Elite, and look at how they played that one so well. 15 elims. You love to see this one from that squad.
Absolutely. I mean, 25 points. They're just tearing it. You're just tearing away. RGX did try the absolute best to put up something here, but unfortunately, this was just beyond them, and this is one for the books as well. Incredible performance from Team Elite. Kakao is back in the mix, and you can tell what he adds to the squad.
I mean, and even Des not looking to slow down as well, putting numbers up on the board. 6 eliminations, you love to see that, and I love when you start to see that internal competition-ish, like it's like, oh, I'm also trying to overfrag out. But I'll cheer for the match summary for his second Arangel. Not as many heals as the last one. This one had a lot of chaos. 6700 damage, or well, let's just say 6,700. Actually, everything almost seems perfect for this one, but we have a lot more assists going into this one. A lot of these teams did play together as a team. We saw a lot of pushes coming in through from outside and open fields, but then again, head to head between these two teams, one team really prioritized their rotations at the later phases of the circle. The other team prioritized their rotation in the early phases of the circle, and towards the end they were able to get themselves more eliminations. And I'm speaking about Elite being the one that prioritized early, and Rage being the ones that prioritized late. And look at how he played for both teams.
Yeah,
For both teams.
Yeah, played very, very well. Very, very well. But Des was the man of the moment. And he was the man of the moment yesterday for them as well in the Miramar game. So this is a player you do not want to sleep on. Powerful player for Elite. 6 eliminations to the good. 700 plus in damage points. Did get 5 knocks and did have 30 minutes on the clock. This is one serious player. Team Elite has a serious roster of players, and it's absolutely incredible. What they've got in store. 25 points. Yes. Now this is where they start to run away with it. But take a look at the MVPs crowned Des and Cacao. Like you said, competition.
Love to see that one, and it's not just the two of them making it up here. Even Simple from the squad here as well, and he's got himself 3 eliminations, 403 damage. You could just tell that Elite had their fun in this lobby, but RRAGE, Palabala, I understand you've gotten 3 eliminations already, but I think in that part or in that side of the circle, you needed to exert more trigger discipline, especially given the fact that you only know where 1 out of 4 players are. You're a 3-man squad, you're seeing there's 7 players left alive, there's only 4 more people, but you've only seen 1 so far. You want to hold that information for the time being to try to see if you can get your opponents off guard. But match standings right now, Elite far from everyone else. The closest to them is RRAGE with 11 total points. They don't even come close.
Yeah, I mean, Rescue Esports were arguably their best game so far. ZEUS Esports in the mix as well with 8, RGX also with 8. And Mad Esports have 7 points to the good. Zen with 5, tied with FORKILL Esports. Neon Outlaws still struggling to find your footing. Sambulan with 3, Mad Monkeys and Tactical Execution 2 apiece. Team B13, Why So Serious with 1 apiece. Angry and TERRORSIX Wakanda, no points on the board in this game. But let's take a look at the MVP race right now as it looks.
And that is not fun actually for Team Angry, because Team Angry is that team that is seated in 3rd position. And again, we mentioned it in this game. It starts off as we're just trying to hold off till it starts to look like it's slipping away from your hands, right? And right now, it does look to be slipping away, or what looks to be slipping away is Switch, because he started today being top 1 on the overall top players, and right now he's already been pushed to number 4, and it looks like even Des is starting to draw closer and closer.
Yeah, I mean, in these 5 players, he has the lowest number of eliminations amongst them, but the damage numbers are still carrying him heftily. He still has over 900 plus damage points over Des, but with a couple of more eliminations, Des will catch those numbers. So he has to step up the game. He has been putting in a shift today, but he's not translating right to how the team's performing. So he has to find that footing that he had on day 1. But it's not over just yet. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard and now see who has now broken into the top 7, or if Mad Monkeys are standing strong.
They're still holding their position there on number 7. As I said, that last game, they would have enjoyed watching that one, because those teams that were below them already lost players at the early phases of the game. So there really wasn't too much to fight for, or well, there wasn't really too much to worry about, my bad, for the side of Mad Monkeys. But then again, still another game to go before the end day is closed. But I have to say, Team Angry started off as 3rd, now they're 4th. Just 15 points behind the side there of Mad Monkeys. It is starting to get really, really close for them. They have to lock in, at least in this last game.
Yeah, they absolutely need to. I mean, take a look at that. This bubble is so interesting. ZEUS, slowly have started to build 40 points, 5 points away from a top 7, 6 points away from a top 6, 10 points away from top 5, and 60 points away from a top 4 finish. It is not far-fetched. They've gotten a chicken dinner. Elite do have 3 chicken dinners as opposed to the rest of everyone else. But now we're starting to see the second page, right? Chicken dinners are now on the second page. We have 1 chicken dinner on the second page. Imagine that. You have a chicken dinner on the second page, but nothing for you.
And you're still in 11th position. I do have to say, the side of Elite, we were thinking, hey, would they cross 100 at the end of today? They're like, oh no, end of today is too far. We're going to cross 100 points after game 3, and they already did that with 102 points that they put up on board. But then I'm looking at this side of the leaderboard, BRÜLANT. I would have expected them to do better today. Right now, they're getting caught in early eliminations and early fights. That is affecting their style of play. Right now, they're in 14th. Esports are starting to draw closer and closer, but they're going to have to really trigger something in order to really boost themselves to the top of the leaderboards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that is what we love to see. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 games down, 1 more to go. PUBG Mobile action at its finest in the Cup Africana Season 3. It is still Priest and Crowns bringing you the action live. And now we are going to head into Miramar for the last game of the night. We'll see you right after the break.
edition of the 10NET Campus Game Fest 2025, and we are live at the University of Ibadan. Game on. Hi, this is Precious. So I'm at Game Fest, and this is my first time coming to Game Fest, and I've been loving it so far. My favorite game of the day is Just Dance.
My name is Osaz. I won the FC 25 tournament. But it was a very tough tournament, especially the first game. I went to penalties after extra time.
Is Kamala Ferrina. I participated in today's tournament in 10 and 80 and Monster tournament, and I was the winner for Free Fire.
My name is Israel. I won the F1 sim racing competition that was held here.
Hello, my name is Olaole, and I won Street Fighter 6.
I participated in the Just Dance game, and I've been moving my body. And yes, Game Fest, I would like for you to come back to UI bigger and better.
Mission.
The match is about to start.
From PS12, now on the Monday, is minus Ruga, down the Warmison, Demo, against Iva, he needs to clear that hill, the boys in yellow, Iva finds him, shuts him down, and 340, 10 more seconds, through that door, the oil money team, all day going to make history, very first land, very first win, 347, 348, now the contest, the boys in three, no way through, and they are going to hold it down, so S, are your champions.
BRÜLANT final played by Monster Energy and Tenerify.
Comforting to send them out. We can't sports. Everything aware that there's someone
This is going to end the final games of the night.
guys, it's me Trey, and I'm live here at the 10 and 80 Game Fest campus happening right here in Abuja. If you are seeing this, there's lots of games, music, networking, and so much fun happening. And the best part, it's all free.
Hi guys, my name is Russia and I'm the winner for the Cross Mobile.
Joshua, I won the tournament for Street Fighter 6. Shalom,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to La Coupe d'Africaner Season 3. We are in the Gauntlet stages, and things are about to get not just dicey, things are about to get real fun as we are getting a change of scenery as we head down into the sandy deserts and the sandy dunes of Miramar. Priest, we're going into Miramar. How are you feeling about this game?
Well, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling super special because Miramar tends to give us a little bit something different than what we're used to. I mean, I love these launch. Uh, what do we even call these? Like the things that have taken over the parachutes, the gliders, right? Like this guy is
In
riding a
fact,
unicorn.
a unicorn that has fire, purple fire.
I mean, now PUBG Mobile
Wow.
cooked with this one. I can't lie.
Hey, I
But
want to see the fire dude.
but yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, like I said, Miramar gives us a little bit of something different. What? Gives us a little bit of something different, and I'm looking forward to seeing who's going to do something differently in this game. Yesterday we had Elite give us back-to-back chicken dinners. You know, they won game 3 and 4. So are they going to do it again this time around, or are they going to get stopped in their tracks?
And it starts getting scary when a team that did well in their last 2 games of the day yesterday come in storming in their first 2 games of today or their first 3 games of today. It just makes you feel like if that team gets stronger as the day closes out, going into this final game, which is not looking like a map that might be one of their favorites, it's going to be a very crazy one. We do see them around that Impala area of the map as everyone does seem to be landing and finding a place to stay. It's going to be one of them southern circles. I think I'm going to like how this game is going to go here in Miramar.
Yeah, I'm expecting the exact same thing. Neon Outlaws, tough, Northwest, nasty business. That's a nasty piece of business, man. The rotation they will have to make is going to be one for the books to get all the way out there and avoid as much opposition as possible, unless they are going to go in guns blazing from that western side. I think they're going to make a southern rotation, but I'm going to keep my eyes on them to see what kind of rotation they make, you know, going into that final third. But right now, tactical execution also had a very good Miramar game yesterday, but can they do the same today? It is all about today's games now. Who's going to see it through?
And I think tactical execution today, they've had struggles with timing, right? We see them hold some good positions and see them try to take fights that one would think they would win. But the timing has just really been where their problem is, where it's like they start the fights a little too early or try to third party too early in such a case that now the people you're third partying choose to focus on you and then eventually start to take you out one after the other. And why it's always one after the other is because else, like the case is right now, they have Tezzy, who has the information that there's a squad in there. He knows that info, but he's so far away from his team that if another team pulls into the situation now, he's gonna be out of there. Or if he now starts shooting at them, he's gonna draw the attention of another team, and then they start going out one after the other like that. And I'm really hoping that they get to see that, and hopefully they fix that going into tomorrow's games.
Yeah, hopefully they will be able to find a way through. But Team Angry, oh, they're not gonna like this. This is not a good start, especially going up against the team that is directly below you on the leaderboards. It's not something you want to see. but it is part of the game. Switch trying to get away through his teammates there. That's a big spray. Does manage to get Mamu knocked away there. Sal's plays behind him, and they are looking for a way through as well to make sure they can squeeze Angry out of this position. It's going to be a battle of who's going to out rotate the other person as Casinos pops out immediately. Franco has a better spot, a better high ground position, but he does get a couple of sprays over. And Casino has to think twice about this one as well. Hopefully, he can get Casino picked up to make something happen. It is again coming to add some more pressure, but they have the protection of that compound.
And hopefully that would play out well for them. As right now, Franco seems to be protecting that Golden Mirado with all he's got. And he would survive for the time being. And while that fight was going on, the side of Elite find themselves in trouble as they're going up against B13. Kakao, one of their strongest fraggers, finds himself down. And now they're down to a 3-man squad to hold on this one, of which even the 3-man, he lost one more. And now it is a 2-man squad. Can the side there of B13 hold that prowess? Can they hold this one and close out this fight? Because we've seen situations where, you know, teams that are down as a 2-man team would eventually turn things around, just like Elite is already starting to do, and end up getting themselves all the eliminations.
There's a big chance that they might be able to do that, though, you know. And there is a big draw here, but B13 in a lot of trouble, though. They might not be able to find their way against the guys from Elite. Unfortunate scenes. But again, scrappers. There's scrappers everywhere you go. Scrappers, they will steal from you.
Right, they had the numbers advantage. They had everything in their way. I'm very surprised to see that they were not able to get themselves that all the 4 eliminations there. But that was what I was saying. We've seen in situations where teams that have just the 2 players would be the one to turn the tides and capitalize on that, and that is exactly what they've just done. But the side of Angry now, they've lost 2 players and they have no eliminations as well. The team below them, FORKILL, has all 4 players alive, and they have 2 eliminations. You did say of which the 2 eliminations came through from Team Angry. So right now, Angry, it really is slipping away. Really is slipping away, because now what was a 6 points difference is now down to 4.
Exactly, and the math is not looking good for them at all. Imagine, you know, the fact that there's a chance here that they might finish today in 7th place or outside of the top 7. Because it's very possible that the gap between them and the rest of the other teams is not that huge. You know, especially a team like Mad Monkeys, this is really not out of pocket. There's a big chance that this could turn on its head. But I hope that that's not going to be the case for them. But right now, Brix is looking for a way through. You know, BRÜLANT, they've, as usual, scrappers. Somebody's going to steal some from you. Machine has already stolen some from somebody. I think it's from Tactical.
TERRORSIX.
They've lost one.
Tactical.
They've lost one already, because you already know if you're getting knocked by some BRÜLANT player, GG's, dog.
It's a handbagging you into the lobby. That's the last thing I would do. You're following me back to the lobby. And this is quite interesting. I wouldn't expect to see these early fights, or well, I wouldn't count them as early fights. But then we're seeing these scrappy players going out here and there, and they've not even started rotating. This is what is going to make this map here of Miramar very, very fun. And I don't know if I just saw an apple on the floor, but to be honest, I really need to get back.
Well, Tactical Execution are now going to be on the receiving end of FORKILL again. FORKILL adding to the numbers, getting closer and closer to Angry on that leaderboard with every elimination they get. And right now, Machine has been knocked away, but I believe he will be getting picked up. King adding some more pressure. On the other hand, Rohan, the only person to get an elimination for Tactical Executions, but he has himself been executed. An aspect also trying to gather some more intel against guys from BRÜLANT. I mean, if they decide to crash into this building, they will lose another player. I'm guaranteed.
And that's one of the cases that they understand. And I think what they want to do here is just wait it out. Like, yes, you know where that team is. Just have one person keep an eye out on that building, try to see if there's anyone escaping. You don't necessarily have to take the shots. It's early phases. And then when that circle closes, then you have enough information. You know where most of those players are. And then you can now plan how you want to push. For right now that they're both still in the circle, I would say it's one of the cases of just see if you can hold it out. until say BRÜLANT chooses to leave that building, because that building that they're holding is very hard to push. Before you even get to the building, there is a very high chance that you would have been taken out.
Very, very high chance. But right now, Rescue Esports, hopefully they are able to find their way through. And the RRAGE currently sitting in third place. Comfortable 61 points to the good as well. They are looking, and they do have four players up. Same with RGX as well, but RGX, if they can find their way through, probably gonna extend that lead just a little bit further to see who's going to finish on top. But chances are it's still going to be Elite that finishes the day strongly. But jury's still out on that one, unless RGX turn things around. But take a look at ZEUS now. They are getting a piece of the action as well. First elimination for them if they can manage to get the drop on FORKILL. Doesn't look like it will work though. Mamoon has circled back and got himself into a very, very interesting position to apply some of that pressure. You can see Lucifer playing off that southwestern side to get some more intel, and it does work. Mamoon is going to be the victim, and he is the off-angle man. You know your team is cooked when the Overwatch guy is spotted.
You know what they say, flankers die alone. That is exactly what's happening out here to MedSauce, as he's down to 1 HP, a slither of HP. Fabian just has to get those final shots in there, and they do see that player. The rest of FORKILL looking to form up on MedSauce there, but it's a question of how much can they play from this angle. I think ZEUS is playing this a little too carefully and a little too wide. You know where those players are. I think it's something they can push up to, and MedSauce does fall, leaving them to just the last player. They know where that player is. They know he's somewhere in these compounds. They just have to choose if they want to capitalize on it or if they want to keep holding that high ground and allow that player survive some more.
Yeah, those are real valid options there, but they are caught between a rock and a very hard place. Fabian has been knocked away, but FORKILL will be killed. End of the road for them, and ZEUS starting to add to that tally. Fortunately for Team Angry, though, that pressure has been relieved a little bit there, but he has been transferred to the next team and the next team and the next team. It is not over for them just yet, unless they add some points to that range that they've already gotten. Hopefully, they will be able to find some, but right now, they've already lost 2 players, and things are looking very, very slim for them going into this third phase of the circle.
Yep, and that is not very far for them. 30 of circle, they're already not looking good. And you don't, again, this final game really is to cement yourself in a very good spot before the start of tomorrow's games, because tomorrow's games are going to be something else. That bubble fight would be one to watch out for. I mean, I think the top 2 teams should be good from here on out, but looking at that third place downwards, it's still looking like something that there could still be a little bit of a fight for those positions. So right now, all of these teams really need to lock in, because again, we're looking at the other side of the leaderboard, like from 8th place downwards. You're looking at the likes of ZEUS, who can pull up a very great game. We're looking at the likes of Neon Rising. These are teams that can pull out the late game. We're looking at wildcard teams like BRÜLANT, who can choose tomorrow to just come and tramp on anyone's parade. This is going to be a very, very interesting game, or it's going to be very interesting games going into tomorrow. That tonight, this last game, you have to make it a good game.
You definitely, absolutely have to. Your one-stop shop to the finals of La Coupe d'Africaine. So you have to make sure that everything works in your favor. But right now, Mad Esports looking very confident in their rotations. There's still ways to go from that circle, but they have the utilities to get inside of the circle unscathed. Those sights have been set on the guys from Zen Esports. They're all sitting around the same area, the same positions. There's a big chance for them if they can add a couple to their tally. But Neon, imagine your first engagement is Mad Monkeys. Come on. Like, Neon Outlaws can't catch a break. And this is what happens when you make a steep rotation, right? Their rotation was very steep from that northwestern side, and they rotate straight into the Mad Monkeys. And there's a chance that they might get slapped up here. They might lose 1 or 2 players. Oh, they've already lost 1, actually. Tony has already gotten a drop on one of the players from Neon Outlaws. He's out in the open. How does this even happen? Oh, that's just unfortunate, man. Yeah, man. After all that hard work, is he going to lure one of his teammates in with this? Yeah, it doesn't look like it,
Nah.
though. Mark gets a drop on him. That's another one biting the dust. And are they even going to do anything about this? Are they going to trade? It doesn't look like they're going to trade. And will be
and
another one
and
biting
it's
dust.
And you can also see that caution coming through from Neon Rising. And just as you said, this is what happens when you go for a very steep rotation. We already called it from the beginning. They have to make a very tough decision on how they want to rotate this game. If they wanted to go in straight from the west, or if they would want to go all the way from downtown, try to go down through Chumasera. And they went through the Chumasera route. Unfortunately, when you're going through that route, I feel like they should have taken a few pit stops on the way,
Exactly.
do a
Yeah.
little bit of scouting before they just jumped into it, because that way they didn't know that there was mad monkeys anywhere in the circle, just for them to get caught on rotation. So it was a tough one for them. I'll let it slide, but then again, I think this is something that, or I would hope that this is something that they learn from.
Yeah, I really hope it's something they learn from as well because, like you said, it's really a matter of how, how they do it. Today, this particular rotation, it was very tricky. I was expecting them to do, a couple of pit stops. I mean, it's phase two of the circle. You don't necessarily need to rush into the zone, especially for a team that knows they want to play by the edge of the circle. There's no need for you to tank it straight up, make a quick rotation, because there's no guarantee that that southern side that you're, making your rotation with from is going to be in the next phase of the circle. You can
Hmm.
take some damage. That is the whole reason of why you're playing so steep. That's why you're landing at the edge, at the extreme end of the map, so you
Hmm.
can stack as many utilities as possible and take a lot of blue zone damage as much as you can while you gather that
Hmm.
intel, because that intel is going to be the most important part of your gameplay.
Exactly, and we've seen a lot of teams do this, so it's not even a thing that we're just pulling out of nowhere. It's like things that we've seen from teams that really like to play edge, right? We've seen likes of what 10, 11, ecstasy. We've seen them in the past do those type of rotation. And even if I want to go out of just local, let me not say local, out of teams that we have here in Africa, we're looking at even the likes of what Navi when they were still Navi. These are things that would see, or strategies that would see them employ. Tank that little blue zone, take some damage. Zone one, zone two is nothing too bad to worry about. Not when you have like what, maybe like 15 bandages in your backpack. Like you have enough to just heal up, gather your intel, and make it into the circle. But speaking of circle, it has made an eastern shift. Not very fun, but we've got high grounds in play.
Yeah, I mean, and if you now look in hindsight, that rotation now would have been the time for Neon Outlaws to make the move. Now would
Mm-hmm.
have been the time. They probably wouldn't have been running into the guys from Mad Monkeys at this stage, or they would have probably seen them now making the play, and they
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't, slam into them unbeknownst to them because they were all moving at the exact same time. They didn't even use a scout. It was just very, very rugged. And take a
Send
look at that.
it.
Elite
Mm-hmm.
still very much in the mix here. Double RG getting called out. But Elite have lost two in all of everything that has gone down here. They managed to get one of the players from WRG knocked away. It doesn't look like he can commit to that drop though. REGX, I believe they want to win this game, so they reduce the deficit between themselves and Elite. I'm pretty sure that that's the mentality inside of the team right now, and that is what you call a winner's mentality. But right now, Team Angry, Double RG, why so serious? Still yet to add any points on the board.
And this is where it starts to get. I want to see how these teams approach this one. We know many of the teams in the lobby like to play from the edge, but right now it almost seems like if you're trying to play from the edge, to play from that western edge would mean you have to hold the building in Los Leones. Subject yourself to the possibility of not get. That's a good day, of not getting as much information as possible, right? And it's like you could have a team creep up on you from behind. This is what we're talking about in that first Arangel game. Like Los Leones being a place that has a lot of buildings, and it could get very, very tricky to defend. So I'd like to see teams that are on that western side, the Rescue Esports, the Why So Serious, even to an extent ZEUS. I want to see how they're going to approach this game from here. If they're going to be able to find that circle to cut out the role of Los Leones.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Is that what they are going to do here? That's going to be a big play, and is most likely going to request a lot of concentration for them because they can't seem to make any of those mistakes. Zen Esports with a sideline on TERRORSIX Wakanda, trying to make sure that they wrap this up. Big Zing going down to Amar. Wow,
Yeah, no.
Mad Monkeys just making quick work of Neon Outlaws. They drop even further out of reach from that that top 7
Top
position.
7.
I mean, they're dropping slower, they're dropping lower and lower into the group stages with every single game. Violence now getting pulled out. And oh, they've got 2 Violence and they've both been dropped. So yep, they're not violent enough, and that is
Stop
the
it.
end of the way. That is the end of the road for Zen. Back into the lobby they will go. The game just gets a little bit tougher for the rest of the opposition.
TERRORSIX Wakanda, 3 eliminations that they have so far, looking to close that gap between themselves and that top 7, because right now top 7 has been really fine. 46 is the points to beat, and right now if you have 31, you know 46 really is within range, especially now that you have 3 eliminations and all 4 of your players still alive. RRAGE holding one of those high grounds that we pointed out that we have here in the circle. It is a very nice one for them to play, not too much potential that they would get third party off of it. They just have to hope that part of the circle remains in the circle when this next zone closes up. So starting to see rotations coming in. Mad Monkey still holding out on that edge, and the zone reveals itself. It will go north. No more Los Leones. Everyone is to get into the zone. RRAGE does not have the zone anymore. Now, how do you play from here?
That is a very valid question. I mean, TERRORSIX looking very, very good in that northern side, but angry with wait, how many players do Angry have? Okay, they've got 2 players still very much in the mix here, so they could turn things around. Fedro and the rest of the guys from Rescue Esports. It looks like this is one of those chicken dinner-esque games. Most of them, they are trying to play inside of the cities to stack up on intel and make sure they get themselves into the top 3, into the top 5 with all of the players intact. It's going to be a numbers game going into that final third, but we'll see who's going to come out on top when the dust settles. But right now, Rescue Esports, they have been due a chicken dinner. Is this going to be the one?
That is the question, not just on your minds, but also on their minds as well, and even my mind too. Because I've been seeing them the way they've been playing all day. They've played so cautiously, and they've been climbing up little by little. And I'm hoping it's one of those cases where you're warming up to the last game, where you have that banger of a performance in that final game of the day. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Rescue put themselves good numbers up on board. That western part of the current circle is very choked up. We have about 4 teams there, and there's solos in there, there's duos in there. It's going to be very, very tricky. Mad Esports is there. Angry is making their way in from there. ZEUS is there. The side there of BRÜLANT is there. And just out there on the outskirts, they have RRAGE in the vicinity as well. So right now, that when this next circle starts to apply pressure, or when that next zone starts to apply pressure, would see a lot of damage being done on that western side. And you can't even play the center of this circle unless you have a death wish.
You're absolutely right. You can definitely not play in the center of the circle. You will be shot at from all sides. ZEUS, on the other hand, they are the biggest threat to that top 7 right now, and they're not far off. They have to be super consistent. Angry loses Yiddish though. He goes back into the lobby. Angry down to a solo player now. And Melio now setting his sights onto Scavy from Rescue Esports. They are all trying to pack it in. Shaki, the next one to go down. Double RG will drop another bomb onto the guys from Rescue Esports. It's going to be a hard nut to crack for their position again. Scavy goes down as well. ZEUS Esports over to the other side, applying some pressure, and they're soaking this one up. RGX now setting their sights on. They're training up against the guys from Warsaw Cereals. Xenos getting dropped away. Yo, Plate is trying to make sure that YSO Cereals cannot advance any further, but Flato is going to go down as well. And Google almost getting dropped off as well. Mad Monkeys now pulling up into the mix, and it looks like Mad Monkeys want to take this down.
Rescue Esports not quite able to make it out of the mix here, but Mad Monkeys looking to apply pressure on that southern edge of that blue zone. There's a lot of damage being done onto the side there of RGX. They need to get their revives up, but Mad Monkeys right now, they expect to see more of their players pushing up onto this fight. Right now, they have just the 2. I know they're trying to hold off angles, but they might be selling right now. They have 4 eliminations, but I think they could get more if they're able to get the likes of RGX out of the lobby this time, and the grenades now being sent Amar to get that re-knock up onto Xenos. More grenades being loaded by that player, and this time it is launched up onto Fardzo. It connects perfectly, goes into the FPP mode, finds another player in the smoke. Is going to be Gorgle to go down at RGX. in the blink of an eye, getting obliterated by just two players from the Mad Monkeys.
Mad Monkeys tearing it up. Amar,
Hmm.
the mastermind, 6 bodies dropped, tied in eliminations with Elite. Amar single handedly has all of the
Hmm.
eliminations that Elite has. That is to tell you the sheer monstrosity of this player. He is absolutely incredible and looks like more is going to be on the way here. Rasta adding some more to the mix in this conversation for Mad Esports. He's trying to circle back. Old bait and
Let's.
switch. Old bait and switch. He really thought nobody was going to see him peeking out from there. That's just
He
unfortunate.
got
Logic
comfortable.
immediately, like they just that was just pure rage baiting. They really thought he was going to be safe in that one. He's probably going to work here again against Logic if he's not careful enough. Probably going to take it down there, but they will pack it into the corner there, and they
Ah.
utilize the high ground position.
Eh?
Beautiful
Eh?
work
Eh?
from Mad Monkeys, delivered like Glovo. Beautiful. We love to see it. They just dispatched it straight to UC Sports, and Angry finally going out, but they did manage to secure at least one placement point with all of their hard work. Mad Monkeys, 4 players up, 7 eliminations to the good. Remember, now it is a matter of how many points Zeus can add to this mix to move up on the leaderboard. Right now, FORKILL and Angry have been sent back into the lobby, but there's still a ways to go. There's still a lot of ground to cover to break into that top 7. But Mad Monkeys, it looks like this might just be their game.
I like the teams that are currently alive right now. It's teams scattered across the board. We're looking at number 1, number 3, number 6, number 8, number 10, number 13. So, however this game plays out, it's going to leave so much space to try to catch up to that top 7 tomorrow. This is going to be very, very interesting. Elite's trying to survive with just the last player left. Man, you are top 1. You have 7 points in elims this game. Just go.
Yeah, but knowing Des, he's never gonna give it up. This is exactly how he did, and they won in the last game. He was the last man standing, and he won the game as a solo. So
Wow.
this is exactly the type of game he likes. So just unfortunate that the zone is not favorable for him. Klaus is trying to make sure that he wraps this up. He cannot allow Des to get out of that spot, and Des probably is ready to take him on in a 1v1, but not this time. Klaus makes quick work of Simple and sends him back into the lobby with the quickness. Ladies and gentlemen, we are down to 6 teams, 18 bodies in the air. Elite looking for a way inside the zone. Des tanks the blue. He knows that it's GG's for him. He will not make it any further. But Lucifer getting dropped away by King Tartar, and TERRORSIX Wakanda want a piece of the action. The arrows get Sarah knocked away. The Elite going out to the blue zone as expected. They knew they were never going to offer up any eliminations to anyone else. It is Mad Monkey's game, and it's their world, and the
Uh-oh.
rest of the ops are just living in it. Take a look at the spread. Amar getting knocked away. Double RG Melio falls
Stop
to the
it.
zone as well, and that might be the end of the road here. TERRORSIX and Sam BRÜLANT, can they stop the Mad Monkeys?
I don't think so. ZEUS Esports already down to just 2 players. I'll make that one. They need to grab the revive, but Mad Monkeys only have one revive to grab up. 9 eliminations that they have so far as we lose Sang Boulan to the blue zone. And man, Mad Monkeys, you said they've been on fire, but you have to look at Amar. 6 eliminations out of 9. He is lifting this team so heavy. Zeus would be able to get one revive up, and it looks like they will be able to get even the second to give themselves numbers heading into this one. But with Mad Monkeys holding a very strong spot in the circle, it's going to be a very hard one for Zeus. Can they turn teams around?
Ooh, 3 versus 4. Final circle, Zeus. I mean, Zeus are very good in final circle moments, though, but can they stop the Mad Monkeys? Amar has been on a tear. He is already the MVP, back to back MVP in 2 different games. That's to show you that this guy is absolutely something
Ooh.
special. And Lucifer fell for the trickery there and immediately getting dropped away. Opportunity for Mad Monkeys to close this down. Logic plays off the right. He gives away that position, and nobody spots Honcho. No open
Um,
space to get Honcho dropped away. Zeus, they know they were just not ready to take this on. Logic
oh,
already
you've
making a play
moved.
from the right hand side, just popping through. Grenade already launched perfectly. Amar mows him down. Fake into the corner. Is he gonna be rage
Uh-oh.
baiting there? Does he know? Oh! Well, he does get the first drop on him. He shuts the door, and he
Stop
actually
it.
tries to go for the drop. He actually tries to do the kill, but not this time. Mad Monkey, chicken dinner. Finally, after all that time, the job is done.
What a way to play. They came in gun. Actually, I wouldn't say they came in gun blazing. Amar came in guns blazing because right now they've done 12 eliminations, and I believe that man single-handed they had like 7 out of it. We'll get to see it when we see how many the team was able to get in total. But what a way to play the game. I mean, look at that, 8 out of 12 eliminations. Tony getting 2, everyone else holding 1 apiece. I'm not going to complain. Whether it's only Amar that is getting the elims or not, all that matters is that the numbers are being put up on board, and now they've given themselves a very solid cushion going into tomorrow's games.
Whew, not a lot of heals this time around because bodies were getting knocked, they were getting cooked immediately, and that is just part of the Miramar ecosystem. 55 eliminations to the good as well. We did have a couple of grenade eliminations, and I think the lowest number of assists today here. Miramar just gave us a different dynamic. I think we had like 50 assists in the previous
50, 37,
game, right?
34.
Exactly. So that tells you that Miramar is just different gravy. It requires a different type of style, and Mad Monkeys finally coming out on top, and now they're showing the lobby what they are actually made of.
Yeah, and also, the low assist would also go to the fact that with Miramar, we don't see too much third party happening. It's everyone fighting on their own, so you wouldn't get too many assists. It's more like you have to win your ones and win them well. But then again, ZEUS, MORIS putting so much work into this one. Unfortunately, couldn't hold down the fort against the Mad Monkeys as they stampeded towards them. 2,041 damage from them, 10 knocks, 10 eliminations as well. But the side there of Mad Monkeys just finishing little above them with 12 eliminations to go. What a way to play. 22 points for Mad Monkeys, and ZEUS finishing with 16 points. What a way to close the game for both teams.
Yes, absolutely. Beautiful way to finish strongly. ZEUS, I really thought they could hold their own there, but that position they took inside that defensive line, I'm just unfortunate that didn't work out the way they wanted. But 12 eliminations for the Mad Monkeys, MVP back to back. Amar is still him, very much him. 8 eliminations, 800 plus in damage points, 6 knocks, 28 minutes on the clock. Yes, this guy is really him, and he is showing his abilities, and Mad Monkeys are not stopping. They have found their footing, and it's foot on the gas right now till the finals.
Yeah, and this is very scary times that you're seeing when you start to see a player like Amar start to find his footing in this game. I mean, they did look shaky yesterday, looked a little more shaky at the first 2 games of today, but then you got to look at that. He's gotten himself in not just MVP back-to-back, but he's gotten himself in the top players overall for the day in just 2 games, right? Or well, maybe 3 games if we're looking at it. But then again, 8 elimination in this one, simple from Elite, putting in numbers there as well. And man, you have to really give Lucifer his props because of the way he's played, because he's held his team well. Look at that squad wipe that he was able to get in that game. I was totally blown away. What a way to play. Matter of fact, I'm looking at these top 5 players from this match, and indeed they did deserve this.
They absolutely did. I mean, ZEUS coming in clutch in this game. Logic and Faker putting it together. 22 points for Mad Monkeys. Now this is a conversation starter because ZEUS also did 16. Elite also doing 10. TERRORSIX with 10 as well. BRÜLANT, this might be their best performance today as well. 8 points in total. RRAGE with 7. And Angry slipping away with only 3 points gathered in this game. This makes for some uncomfortable conversations going into tomorrow's games. FORKILL esports also 3 points is all they could gather. B13 with 2 mad. RGX tactical execution. Again, RGX, they're acting like their second place is all that it's actually not. With this performance, with these back-to-back performances that they've had, uncomfortable conversations, Crowns.
And one thing I would also add is the way the bottom teams are playing, or the way they've played today. It's something I want to see if they fix tomorrow. Right now, I've seen the likes of Why So Serious, Zen Esports, even Rescue Esports get themselves into good positions. Like they will get into that top 9 position, get into that phase 5. But it's almost like they don't know what to do from there on out. So if they fix that tomorrow, 83 points might not be enough to get you into the finals. But then again, looking at that, I'm already putting a gap between himself and every other players there on the overall top players. And of course, Angry doesn't have their player here anymore. These were the players that were performing all through today, not just yesterday, but today as well. And it is showing as they've made it up here into the overall top players, Priest.
Yeah, you can see Angry has been shifted out of the conversation. Unfortunately, Xenos is still very much in the mix here, but Simple and Dez are probably going to shift him out of there if he doesn't get his things together by tomorrow. It's probably going to be time for him to pack it up. Fadzo as well, slipping off today, coming off their performance yesterday. Things are not looking too good for RGX. They were very untouchable in the first couple of games yesterday, and the way they started off. It looks like today, it was all about the consistency, and it doesn't look like things are going to look on the front foot for them. But let's take a look at the overall leaderboard now. Who is in that top 7? These are the real questions, but take a look at that.
It's getting closer and closer. Angry are dropping further and further down below. Currently holding that with 59 points. It is looking close to 60, but then again, 48 doesn't seem too far off either for the side of tactical execution. But FORKILL have maintained their top 7 position. ZEUS, MORIS have also maintained themselves in the top 7. Mad Monkeys made it in here and have refused to leave ever since then as well. Love to see it. And these teams that are up here, I mean, every team on here, except for, I'd say, Team Angry, really had good games today.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. ZEUS, FORKILL, all of these teams, Chicken Dinner said their name, and this is a clear indication that they have not stopped adapting. They're getting better and better as the games go by. Tomorrow is going to give us a little bit of an idea as to how that top 7 is going to look. But right now, TERRORSIX still in the conversations. Rescue Esports still in the conversation. Neon Outlaws slipping with each game, but they are still in the conversation though. All they have to do now is buckle up and put their foot on the gas and make sure they find their way through come tomorrow's games.
Exactly. And again, I'll say you need to come in with a plan, right? Many of these teams on here, I saw them survive into Zone 5 in this last Miramar game and also in the Arangel game. We're pointing it out in the Arangel game that every team that was below Mad Monkeys had themselves in good position. Like, they had numbers. But then again, it's like they find themselves in those positions. We get to Zone 5, Zone 6, it's almost like they're looking clueless. They do not know what to do. That decision making is where the problem is coming. And again, as I said, if these teams are able to fix this tomorrow, we will see a very, very intense battle for that top 7 spot.
Absolutely right. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the party. La Coupe Africana at its finest. 4 games done. Rondo, we had ZEUS take the Chicken Dinner. FORKILL took game number 2. Arangel went to Elite, and Mad Monkeys closed the deal in match number 8 in Miramar. That is how it went down. Tomorrow is going to be the last day of the Gauntlet stages. The top 7 teams will move on straight to the finals of La Coupe Africana, and the rest of the teams that do not make it will have to be spread across to grind in the group stages, the turmoil of the group stages, of where you will see the likes of Foul Play, Slime 4KT, and a bunch of other teams that you totally almost forgot about. But yes, they are still here, looking for a way to get into that finals, and we're going to keep our eyes peeled for them. But until then, it has been Priest and Crowns, my main man, on the mic. Big shout out to you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. La Coupe Africana Season 3. Tomorrow, the last day of the Gauntlet stage. Who's going to stand on business? Who's going to get it to the finals? Well, stay tuned. We'll find out tomorrow, same time.